ESPN on ABC.
Party people say,
There's something nice about the end of summer. A new day, a new season, all that stuff. Oh, yeah. Michigan versus Alabama.
Jump from 1 point, dig from a 4 point, pouring out my pain. I'm back on my A game. I'm focused. For me, this is just another victory. Accepted. I'm stronger than the odds now, mentally.
It's been a nice summer, but come on, we have business to tend to. Number 8 Michigan meets the reigning national champion Crimson Tide in Arlington.
Welcome to Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows, as part of Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week. Welcome to the 2012 Cowboys Classic. You are looking live at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Defending national champion Alabama battles Michigan and quarterback Denard Robinson, one of the most electric stars in college football. A standing room only crowd awaits this early season showdown on Saturday Night Football. Welcome, everybody. We're Kirk Street. I'm Brett Musburger. This, of course, is our 7th season of Saturday Night Football. Herbie, what great memories we've had.
Some unbelievable memories behind us, and already watching these first couple days of college football. 2012 is going to be a really, really interesting year.
Now, the last time everybody was with us, Alabama was wrapping up a national championship with a shutout in New Orleans. But 4 of those defensive stars, top 35 picks in the NFL, that is a whole lot of talent being drained.
Well, it's a lot of talent on that side of the ball. On the offensive side, the one thing they have coming back is the quarterback, A.J. McCarron, a veteran now after taking them to the national championship. A quarterback that comes into this game, I think, with a great deal of confidence. If you're Michigan, you're breaking in some new personnel up front, the defensive side. They're going to have to overcommit some bodies. I think A.J. McCarron may find himself in a similar situation with some one-on-one opportunities off a play-action pass in this game for some big plays through the air.
Herbie, as you know, Michigan made news late in the week with the suspension of their leading rusher from a year ago, Fitzgerald Toussaint. Now, what impact will that have on the Wolverines?
Well, it's big because Denard Robinson wants to be able to play in a game where he can take some of the pressure off of himself. Toussaint became that player last year. When you take him out of this game, Thomas Rawls will more than likely get most of the carries. More of a physical back. Not as quick and nimble as what you might see from Toussaint, but he has an ability to run into the teeth of this Alabama defense. Alabama's goal today is make anybody beat you, but number 16, Denard Robinson. See if Rawls and the passing game have what it takes to compete with one of the best defenses in the country.
So, Herbie, we invite everybody to settle in. This should be a dandy. The Cowboy Classic. It's Alabama. It's Michigan. You don't have to say anything else.
It's called Belly Belly Nice. Open up your wings, make a dead man sing. Such a good, good thing just can't be wrong.
So the Michigan Wolverines have made their entrance here to this beautiful stadium just outside Dallas. Denard Robinson and the Wolverines won the All-State Sugar Bowl last January when they defeated Virginia Tech. Desmond Howard now with ESPN congratulating Coach Brady Hoke along the sideline. Brady in his first year did a great job of restoring pride. And speaking of great jobs done by a coach, there's Nick Saban. 2 national championships in the last 3 years. The man is eyeing his 4th BCS trophy. Remember, he won one with LSU. He's a man of details. When the clock says, let's go, he'll bring him out. This has been the Nissan pregame shift. Kickoff is coming up live from Cowboy Stadium. And now a look inside Nissan's Heisman House.
Feel so much in my heart about the University of Michigan and what it represents on a national scale.
I know it's tough out here, guys, but nobody said it was going to be easy. It wasn't easy ever before either. It wasn't easy getting where we are. We ain't giving it back.
Alabama will have the ball first tonight. Michigan won the toss and deferred. Now the third member of our team is Heather Cox. She'll be with us all season long on ESPN Saturday Night Football. And Heather, it was Michigan making the news late in the build-up to this game, wasn't it?
Indeed, Brent. After much speculation, it was finally revealed just yesterday. Brady Hoke coming out and saying that he was suspending star running back Fitz Toussaint as well as defensive end Frank Clark for this game. Now, Brady Hoke actually told the 2 players a week ago that they wouldn't be making the trip, but added if the news gets out to the team or he went outside the team, he would add another game to that suspension. And Brent, it's been a challenging off-the-field time for this program. It's dealt with 6 arrests this year. So Brady Hoke wants to make sure his no-tolerance message is heard loud and clear.
And across the way, Heather, Nick Saban's message, do your job. In other words, if you do your job, the big picture will take care of itself. The coaches from Alabama led up to this game with the Little Hoosiers. As you see the series history, not much of it. 3 bowl games. Jamie Morris of the Wolverines erupting for 234 yards and 88. And then that Outback Bowl. Gene Stallings, the honorary captain of Alabama tonight, finishing his great career by winning the Outback Bowl. And then that classic Orange Bowl in 2000. Michigan 35, Alabama 34. Overtime. So we are set to go. Meeting number 4 between 2 of the great brands, Herbie, in all of college football, Alabama and Michigan.
I think everybody's been pointing to this game. Even months ago, we knew this would be the headline game of an exciting Labor Day weekend for college football. And the hype, the build-up, being on the field before the game and talking to some of the players on the field before the game, they're looking around at this stadium saying, man, this feels like a bowl game, maybe even more impressive than a bowl game. So it's quite a scene here in Arlington.
Matt Wild will put it on the tee, and remember with the rule change, he'll put it on the 35-yard line. D. Milner will go back deep. He's standing in the Bama end zone. Christian Jones alongside him. Underway in Arlington. Booming kickoff out of the end zone, out on the 25-yard line. Remember, and not the 20. That's a rule change. And so here comes the junior quarterback from Mobile, Alabama, A.J. McCarron.
What a difference a year makes. Last year he was trying to prove himself in the opener. Now he's returning after winning a national championship. 6'4", 210 pounds. Comes into this game with a great deal of confidence and an understanding that he can make the plays to help this offense.
You look behind him and you say, where is Clint Richardson? But Eddie Lacy is a very capable runner, and he's lined up directly behind him, number 42. 3 wide. Here comes Lacey. And Michigan's interior line met him with emphasis. And Herbie, let's take a look now at the Avis Impact players for the Crimson Tide.
We talked about McCarron. You touched on Eddie Lacy, and you're also going to see a couple other backs eventually play, but they have to replace Trent Richardson. Kevin Norwood, who had an impressive game in a national championship against LSU, leads a great group with great depth of receivers, and C.J. Mosley lines up on the other side as an athlete to be able to slow down Denard Robinson.
Herbie, Anthony Steen just took himself out of the game, and Chad Lindsey is in at right guard. Steen had an equipment problem. He didn't need assistance. Passing down, coming up here for A.J. McCarron early. Snaps it off toward Lacey, and it's incomplete.
Right away, Michigan, because they held up there on 1st and 10, got McCarron into somewhat of an obvious passing situation. And Greg Madison, we've seen Greg Madison around for a long time. There he is, very, very aggressive. That time he brought pressure, got into the face there of McCarron, and Eddie Lacy out in the flat trying to make a play, but Michigan's defense playing with a lot of energy right now.
Christian Jones is the slot man to the left. Outside him is Kevin Norwood. McCarron under pressure. This is a huge defensive series to open this game for the Wolverines.
Brent, you and I talking before the game said, when you're Michigan and you're a proud program and you hear all the negativity about, boy, can Michigan hang in a game like this, you know it's going to create energy. Here, Michigan sits back, only rushes 4. They play zone, and they still got pressure on A.J. McCarron and forced him to throw the football away before he was ready.
There's Jeremy Gallen. Michigan could wind up with terrific field position on their first possession. Cody Mandel set the punt. Drives it. It's a beautiful punt. Fair catch at the 21. Terrific punt by Mandel. And so now the electric one after that 52-yard punt. Denard Robinson, the senior from Deerfield Beach, Florida.
Can do so many things. Threw the ball for over 2,000 yards. You can see 1,176 yards on the ground. And tonight, Brent, with Fitzgerald Toussaint out, more pressure on him to deliver, not just creating and running, but he's going to have to make some throws with his arm against this Alabama defense. He's going to be able to have to throw the ball.
They open with 2 backs, Vincent Smith and Stephen Hopkins. Play action, throw on 1st down, and the converted quarterback, Devin Gardner, could not hang on.
To see the aggressive attitude from Michigan on 1st and 10, and Gardner, as you said, has switched out to receiver, but a heck of a play there by Dean Milner to lay out and get a hand on the ball to knock it away from Gardner.
Herbie, Alabama opens with the nickel look. Ha-ha Clinton. Dix was back there at the safety position. You can see him right now, the single safety. Now they go back to 2 deep. Gallen's your motion receiver for the Wolverines. Again putting it up. And again, Devin Smith complete. And it will be spotted out of bounds at the 31-yard line.
Right now, this offensive line holding up pretty well here in pass protection these first 2 plays. Remember, Bama's breaking in some new personnel themselves on this side of the football. One thing Al Borges does a great job of is he will mix up his looks, try to confuse this Alabama defense, but up front right now, Michigan holding their own.
The umpire is holding up the game because the chain crew on the far side moved the chains for a 1st and 10, but it's going to be a 3rd down, so he had to get him back in position. That's why we have this delay. This is a Big 12 officiating crew. Reggie Smith is your referee tonight. Hopkins is the lead fullback. Power eye. Vincent Smith, the veteran running back, battles for the 1st down. So let's take a look at the Avis impact players, Herbie, for the Wolverines.
Well, of course, it starts with Denard Robinson. He has got to be able to make plays, and he's off to a good start. Thomas Rawls, we touched on him, and stepping in for Fitzgerald Toussaint, more of a power back. Roy Roundtree, number 21. He's 12 last year. He switches to Desmond Howard's number 21. He's excited to have a chance to make plays for this offense. He'll have to make plays tonight. Jordan Kovacs, the captain, former walk-on on the defensive side, is kind of the quarterback of the defense, making the calls.
And Herbie, as you said, that Roy Roundtree checked back in. He's at the bottom of the screen. He's wearing the famed 21. Bama shows blitz. Trying to come with a safety. Can't get there. Throw the slant, incomplete. And that was terrific coverage by D. Milner, the veteran in that secondary.
Well, they brought that safety down and eventually blitzed him, and it shows you the confidence in Nick Saban and Kirby Smart having the coverage ability by D. Milner. One thing we're going to see from Alabama tonight is they're going to challenge Michigan, leave their corners out in an island, and Kirby Smart believes that he has a defense that can match up favorably against these Michigan wide receivers.
Vinny Cincinnati and Robert Lester are the two safeties, and Lester now comes up on the slot man on the right. Here's Vincent Smith trying to get wide on the cutback, didn't get much. Bama was ready for that up front, and that was Trey DePriest making the stop.
One of the toughest defenses to be able to run the football in college football. Nick Saban does such a good job with his linebackers and safeties on reading keys that they always are in the proper position. If you can go back over the last few years, try to tell me a team that has consistently been able to run the ball. That's why Denard's going to have to be able to throw.
As we take a look at tonight's UPS efficiency update, last year holding opponents to 24% on third down, and here, Herbie, is a 3rd and 11, a tough way to go for the Wolverines. Denard stays in the pocket. Now he'll scramble out. There is a penalty flag. Denard is short of the first down, but there is a penalty flag thrown in the backfield at the 30-yard line. And a helmet did come off, and remember, there's a rule on this. They have changed the rule, and a helmet was off. I see Hubbard picking it up. If it was taken off by a face
Personal
mask.
foul, face mask, offense number 77.
Good call, Brent. The left tackle,
penalty.
Taylor Lewan,
Repeat third
just setting
down.
up in pass protection, got his hands up too high against Hubbard and just pulled the face mask and ripped his helmet right off. Left
This
tackle,
is the
right
previous. And this is the same play right there as the helmet came off. Just what you said, Herbie.
Yeah, by the way, C.J. Mosley got a pretty clean shot there on Denard Robinson as he took off to run for the scramble. 32, the linebacker, one of the most active and most athletic linebackers Bama has, got a free shot on Denard before he could get down.
Now it is 3rd and a bunch, and this is where Saban's D loves to tee up. On a release, incomplete, and he had Roundtree open.
He actually was able to break free. You're right. When it's 3rd down and long, I thought we might have seen a draw or a screen. He rolled away from the pressure, and Roundtree actually broke away from the defenders, got behind him. He put that ball in the money. That's a first down.
Over here is Will Hagra. Now, the coaches feel that when he's got his mind set on something, he's a tremendous punter. But remember, he had some difficulty against Virginia Tech. So let's see here. Jones is back deep. And this time a beautiful punt over Jones's head to the 15-yard line. And a return to the 38-yard line where he's met. But the special teams coaches for the Wolverines are happy with that 62-yard punt. But the Bama coaches are happy with that 18-yard return. And we got a player shaken up for Michigan. That's counted as a big corner.
That's
Back out on the field, prove a lot of people wrong. I know a lot of people are doubting this team. We're looking forward to a great season. A.J. McCarron, quarterback, University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
Well, A.J. McCarron underwent off-season shoulder surgery. That shoulder popped out in an SEC game against Arkansas. In the next play, he threw a touchdown after a A fake field goal. Lacey, the running back. And a much better result as they start the second series here, Herbie, than the first series. And this is a big loss for the Wolverines. Blake Countess, the corner, replaced by Courtney Avery.
A veteran who stepped in last year for Trey Woolfolk and did a really good job. Very reliable, consistent corner. You can see the anguish on his face as he's being looked at there by the training staff from Michigan. That was a big first down from Alabama. A little bit more what they're accustomed to.
Kelly Johnson is now the H-back on the field. They continue to run Lacey, and he extends for the first down near midfield.
Coming into this game, I think everybody, even though Trent Richardson's no longer in the lineup, we've seen enough of Eddie Lacy, and we've heard enough about T.J. Yeldon to think that this running game with this offensive line is going to be a real strength. And with Michigan replacing 3 senior defensive linemen who had 87 career starts with 3 players who have 0 career starts, you would think there's a big mismatch up front with Bama against this Michigan defensive line, and Bama's challenging that here early.
There's a young man in this game that Bama folks have been waiting to see. T.J. Yeldon. Play fake to him. McCarron on the roll, throws complete to the 43-yard line, and that was to Kenny Bell.
I think Michigan was thinking what you and I were thinking. There's the freshman. They're going to give it to him. Little play action. The corner plays off. Easy throw for A.J. McCarron. Remember, 1st and 10, more often than not, the best time for the play action pass in the soft corner there. Very easy throw there for McCarron and Kenny Bell.
The coaches attacked the spot where Countess played. They went after Avery early. 2nd down and 3. Penalty flag on the play. The line judge quickly threw it on the false start. So this will be against Alabama.
False start. Offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
That was big Michael Williams, tight end. He goes about 270, folks, senior. He is a load when he leads the point of attack, isn't he, Herbie?
Yeah, good size. This group up front, I think it's one of the best offensive lines as far as experience. You combine the tight end Michael Williams that we've seen in maybe 10 or 15 years.
There's Barrett Jones, the Outland Trophy winner. His 3rd position as a starter in that offensive line. McCarron again, play action, coming back again, and Bell, and they go right back to the same spot. This time, instead of working the sideline, they had him run the quick post, and J.T. Floyd got up with him after a 19-yard gain.
Well, this is the versatility of this offense. Williams was actually flanked way to the outside, the tight end, to occupy the corner, and it gave him a nice crease back to the middle. The corner this time, J.T. Floyd, is late to get there, and it's because he was occupied with the tight end Williams to the outside, and a great throw in rhythm from A.J. McCarron.
And Herbie, now they're trying. Raymond Taylor has had a couple of plays in that secondary. And here is Yeldon, the freshman. Look out to the 15, and a 1st and 10 Bama. That was an electric burst through that hole. 14 yards. Herbie, we can see why they love this freshman.
Yeah, just a different feel from Eddie Lacy. Eddie Lacy's a power back, and when Yeldon gets the football, you can see how quick he is and how quickly he's able to accelerate upfield. Bama always likes to have a tandem of backs. They have for the last 3 or 4 years. You got a feeling this year Lacy and Yeldon could be that tandem.
From Daphne, Alabama, right outside Mobile. Coming to the right side. Patient picks his way, and he's to the 9. They may not have a Richardson, but they've got a Yeldon, and he could be growing up right before our eyes here tonight.
The other thing you're seeing is the offensive line begin to assert themselves. Last couple plays, simple zone plays where they're just occupying a little bit of space and trying to let the back define the crease. He's shown some patience here the last 2 plays. When he sees his hole, he has that acceleration and vision to go with it.
Charleston Fowler is the lead back in front of the freshman. Yeldon, middle. Jones blows it open. And he's to the 5-yard line. I want to go back and talk about this young man, T.J. Yeldon, 6'2", 216. Herbie, look at the high school career at Daphne. 6,155 yards and 73 touchdowns. Think about those numbers.
Think about trying to tackle him in high school. 6'2", 215 pounds. He actually enrolled in January to get more familiar with the offense and to be able to get adjusted before he went out here and had a chance to play.
And now that they get closer to the end zone with a 1st and goal, they'll bring the powerful Eddie Lacy back into the game. Picks his way. Stop short of the goal line. It'll be 2nd down and goal coming up. Jabril Black led the defense that time.
It's one of those drives that really can take out a lot of your energy and your belief early in a game when they've thrown the ball a little bit. He hit a seam here and there upfield. But it's more about this offensive line and these running backs taking the game over, pushing people around.
So after 3 and out, Herbie, this now is the 9th play of this drive. Gonna throw for it. Got it. Touchdown. They go to the big tight end. Michael Williams with the first touchdown of this game.
This is the different wrinkle you're going to see from Alabama this year. Doug Nussmeier, the offensive coordinator, is aggressive when they get inside that 10-yard line. He came over from Washington. As soon as they got inside the 10, 1st and 10, play action, slip the tight end to the outside. That's something a little bit different from Bama than in the past.
So the extra point is added by Jeremy Shelley, wearing number 5. Remember, he kicked 5 field goals against LSU in that championship game. Bama strikes first.
Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Windows. Hyundai. Go online and show your loyalty to your school at HyundaiShowYourLoyalty.com. And Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's.
Herbie, it wouldn't be a Michigan football game without the band, but for a while they weren't coming. But when you're getting $4.5 million to come down for a football game, you gotta find some cash for this great band.
You gotta bring the band down, right? And they're looking for a reason to get excited here. Maybe Denard can fire them up here.
Dennis Norfleet, the freshman, is standing back on the 1-yard line for the Wolverines, and they're going to give him a crack from the 5. This is a freshman coming out with a burst. Now to around the 30-yard line, Herbie.
Yeah, let's go back to this touchdown. 2nd goal, and you got to like how aggressive Alabama gets here. Here's the tight end, Michael Williams. Here's the outside linebacker, Jake Ryan, who has him man-to-man. Watch the technique here by Ryan. A little bit of play action. Just the fact he cheated up a little bit gave Williams easy route to get to the corner, but it was really the play call here, catching Ryan off guard when he's anticipating the way Bama had been running the ball, that they'd finish the drive off by running in for the touchdown. Instead, catch him by surprise. Easy throw for McCarron.
Yeah, Herbie, Thomas Rawls is on the field. He's got his first carry, and he is stopped at the 29. For an update, here's Robert Flores in the studio.
All right, Brett, it's a Taco Bell studio update. Number 15, Texas, opening up at home against Wyoming. They're up 7-3 in the first quarter. When Brett Smith finds Robert Herron, Herron breaks a couple tackles, goes all the way. Point after no good. Wyoming leading Texas in Austin 9-7.
All right, Robert, you keep an eye on that. And here, of course, Bama has struck first and leads it by 7. 2nd and 10. And you see the big Hopkins is there to the left of Denard. Denard's got high and incomplete. Jeremy Gallen, the 5'8" receiver, was covered by tough Robert Lester. Lester, the safety, is the only returning member of Nick Saban's secondary, and he's a dandy. He thought too, Herbie, about going to the National Football League.
And right now with Barron no longer playing and in the NFL and Hightower in the NFL, really the leadership is turned over to Robert Lester and Nico Johnson, along with Damian Square. The baton has been handed to them to provide that guidance for the rest of these newer players.
Got him in 3rd and long again.
Say
timeout. There's a penalty, I believe. Is there an illegal
substitution? It looked like by Alabama late.
Yes. Defense.
Oh, Saban will be onside. This does not happen. You see that? Kirby, how can this happen? We play with 11 men. What are you thinking about?
Well, I tell you, not only is he's frustrated there with Dixon, but you know this, 3rd and 10 versus 3rd and 5 against Denard Robinson's a different deal.
Oh, you got that right.
Yeah. And this is a big drive in this game. Early in the game, Alabama has a tendency to intimidate a lot of people. They score a touchdown. The worst thing you want to do if you're Michigan is go 3 and out.
They'll try to keep Denard in that pocket for as long as they can. He's got Gardner and could not hold on, and the Wolverines are forced to punt again. That was D. Milner on Devin Gardner.
Denard Robinson right now is trying to find his rhythm and trying to be accurate. He understands on 3rd down, Bama's going to bring an exotic pressure. He actually stays in that pocket and delivers the football on his front foot, something he has worked very hard on. Last year throwing a lot off his back foot. He just threw it behind Gardner.
Christian Jones, remember, he was driven back by Hogrup on that first punt. Fields this one on the 22-yard line. Looking for a seam, and he is brought down at the 33-yard line. So when you come back, Bama will have the ball with their 7-point lead. You're watching ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC. ACC rivals square off on ESPN Monday Night Football. It will be Virginia Tech against Georgia Tech. College football primetime presented by Russell Athletic, Monday at 8 on ESPN. Also available live on Watch ESPN. Eddie Lacy back in as the running back behind A.J. McCarron for Bama. Going to throw on 1st down. Flush from the pocket and throws it away. Pressure from the Michigan front that time on McCarron. Jake Ryan, the linebacker, and he's a good one.
And A.J. McCarron that time recognized the matchup that he wanted to get the ball to, and as Christian Jones lined up against the safety, Thomas Gordon. Michigan playing nickel with 5 defensive backs. He was locked in on his receiver, and because of the great coverage, that's what allowed Michigan that time to be able to get the pressure on McCarron.
2nd down and 10. Fowler is now the running back behind McCarron. And they'll run the big fella. He breaks the daylight. Out to midfield. Gordon forced to make the stop, but what a burst by the junior from Mobile. Jalston Fowler for 26.
And Brent, Anthony Steen got his equipment fixed because he's pushing people all over the field. The right guard that time opened it up, and what great vision by the big man that time. A little stutter step into the hole and finds a little bit more of a seam to the backside and picks up 1st down yardage.
So they'll keep Fowler in that I-back spot. May continue to throw on 1st down. Sideline, got him open. DeAndre White, touchdown Bama. 51 yards, and folks, the Tide rolling early.
Well, play action on 1st and 10. A double move here by White, outside and up. And the corner who has stepped in for Countess, Courtney Avery, the junior, slips. White gets downfield, an easy throw that time. McCarron makes it look so easy when he has his man where he wants him.
Nick Saban showing you why he coaches coaches. As soon as the starting corner comes out, the extra point is good. But as soon as the starting corner comes out, Saban smelled blood in the water and went after that spot. In the first quarter, Alabama leads by 2 touchdowns. Cade Foster with the ball on the tee here in Texas Stadium. Here comes Norfleet again from the goal line. The freshman. Looks like he has a burst to the 23-yard line. And so, Herbie, what can Denard Robinson do now to get this offense driving?
Well, he's got to be able to make some plays and create. Bama is doing such a good job defensively in containing him with their controlled rush. They're also affecting him when he's throwing the football. I mean, they're not sacking him. They're not necessarily making him run and have to try to create. They're just affecting him enough on his follow-through. There's always a player or two from the Bama defense in his general area that I think is having an effect on his accuracy in throwing the football, but he's got to make some plays with his feet.
Vincent Smith back in as the running back. Quick screen to the outside, and Gallen's first catch to the 32. So they went to Jeremy Gallen. That's 2 for 6 for Denard Robinson here, Herbie.
The other thing, Al Borges, who's recognized as a very creative offensive coordinator, has got to help with a lot of different looks. Something to be able to slow down this Bama defense. Right now, the field has slanted in a direction favoring Alabama on offense and defense, and they've got to do something to be able to slow them down with misdirection, play action, and quick throws like the last one we just saw.
Here's Vincent Smith behind the right side of that offensive line, and this will be another 3rd down. Coming up, this, though, 3rd and manageable for the Wolverines. The one thing, Herbie, that you and I know about Nick Saban from that LSU game, he will take one thing away from you. Every time you go up against a Saban defense, he's coming to get you on one thing. And Denard Robinson has not done much damage with his feet yet.
His one thing, we talked about this in the open, is to stop number 16. Who else can beat us? Can the running back beat us? Can the wide receiver beat us? Number 16 cannot beat us, so they built their whole plan to stop him.
Rawls back in, bangs for the 1st down.
And I think that's the thing that's most alarming to Michigan with Fitzgerald Toussaint not in this lineup tonight. He was a great compliment last year to Denard. He took some of the pressure off of Denard and some of the attention off of him, because if you didn't pay attention to Toussaint, he has the ability to make somebody miss, and he can get a field 20 or 30 yards. Can these backs tonight, who are in uniform, can they take that same pressure and help Al Borges and take the pressure off of Denard Robinson?
He's beaten Saban a couple of times, but he had Auburn's offensive personnel. Nothing doing again, and there is a penalty flag thrown late. C.J. Mosley, number 32.
Look at a face mask. You can see Rawls showing that sign. Well, he's got holding.
Holding. Offense number 77. 10-yard penalty.
That is Taylor Lewan with his hands full against this Bama defensive front. This 3-4 that Nick Saban runs.
You can see the ball carrier tries to get to the outside. Hubbard, 42, right there, grabs a hold of his face mask. That's what I thought the officials saw, but they saw an offensive lineman actually blocking Hubbard, lock onto him.
1st down and 20 now. Wolverines averaging less than 2 yards a play here so far. Play action. High and incomplete. And it will be 2nd and long, and again trying to hit Devin Gardner, the converted quarterback.
Here's another example where they're not necessarily forcing him out of the pocket. They're not necessarily sacking him. But look in the backfield, Denard Robinson. He feels that off to his right. He feels Dixon closing in on him as he got around Schofield, just enough to be able to affect his accuracy. When a quarterback starts to sense and feel the pressure that's getting to him, he's not zeroing in on the read downfield and the accurate throw downfield. And right now, this Bama defense is doing an outstanding job of having an impact on Denard Robinson feeling comfortable in the pocket.
Going down the right sideline, the receiver, it's intercepted. Picked off at the 45 by Milner. 40, 35, 30. Milner breaks the daylight. They send one star after another to the NFL. They just reload.
And this is one of their top returning players. He's played well all night. D. Milner actually takes the receiver and pushes him out of bounds. Roy Roundtree feels how physical Milner is at 6'1", 200 pounds. He just threw him out of bounds. And then not only does he make the interception, but he's thinking about trying to take it to the house.
And Denard Robinson is shaken up. He came to the sideline with an injury after throwing that tackle. So Fowler comes in as the running back. McCarron is in the gun. And Bama looking to strike again here in the opening quarter. One-on-one. End zone incomplete. Overthrew Kenny Bell.
So there's the difference in A.J. McCarron. We'll get back to that in a second. You can see Denard Robinson just throw his shoulder. More of a frustration tackle. That's right on his throwing shoulder, trying to make a tackle. Out of frustration, throwing his body into the defensive back, who actually bounced off of him.
The trainers down there with the young man may have suffered a shoulder injury here in the first quarter against Bama after an interception. Fowler, the running back, picks his way. And let's go quickly now to Heather Cox.
Brent, as Denard Robinson came over to the bench, he called over Devin Gardner, the backup quarterback and also the wide receiver. No official word on whether or not Denard can play, but certainly an indication based on the fact that he called Devin his backup over. Now, Devin's been taking about half his splits at practice, his reps at practice this week at receiver, and half at quarterback. We'll see when they get the ball back who goes in.
And you know, they may choose the youngster who, number 8, is also warming up down there. And Eddie Lacy checks in as the Bama running back. Touchdown, Alabama.
What a great job of blocking the fullback Fowler, the left tackle, the young star Quanjo pushing people around, and Eddie Lacy showing that he gets inside that 10-yard line. He is the back that they want to get the football to. They even did last year when they had Trent Richardson, but a great block by Fowler and Quanjo to open that up. They get you, Brent, and they start to kill your will because of how physical they can be. Great job. I'll tell you, Fowler is a valuable commodity this year. Lines up at fullback. They'll put him at H-back. That time he takes on Kenny Dimmons, the middle linebacker from Michigan, who led the team in tackles a year ago. Opens that hole up for Eddie Lacy.
But this could wind up being the story of the game as Denard Robinson, trying to stop Milner, throws his right shoulder into the corner and appears to be injured on the sideline. Back up now, and let's hope that he's okay. He's a tough player. But folks, the story of this game right now is Alabama. Let's remember this. Their first possession. Herbie, they were 3 and out, okay? They now have handled it 3 times since that 3 and out. 3 touchdowns as they start to roll. From the 5. At the 26 is down, and our aerial coverage being provided by the MetLife Blimp. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. MetLife, I can do this. Herbie, we couldn't tell for sure, but it was a good sign to see Denard back up with his helmet on the Michigan sideline. I'm sure you would agree with me on that.
Oh, yeah. Michigan right now needs anything positive to happen. When Alabama gets you down, and this is a new Alabama team. This isn't 2011. This is 2012. When they get you down, they continue to attack. Denard Robinson has to try to fight this fight and try to stay in there for this team. They need it.
Throws. Gallen complete. Gallen to the 35-yard line.
I watched him throw that football, and it just didn't look like he was comfortable with letting go of the ball. This is going to be an injury that's probably going to be bothering him. He hesitated for a second, but you can see even the follow-through. He's kind of laboring a little bit there on his throw. Bama, as you said earlier, when Nick Saban senses something, they adjust on the fly. They know that he's hurting. That's when you want to try to bring more pressure on him, continue to try to pound on this quarterback.
Snaps off, incomplete. Gallen, and it was too far in front of him. And it will be 3rd down and 1 already.
For Michigan, it's just baby steps, just trying to pick up a first down. It's hard to be able to find a rhythm for a quarterback when you're unsettled. You're going 3 and out. Things aren't happening for you. So they can pick up a first down here, try to find a little bit of a rhythm here, see if they can put a drive together.
Bernard trying to run for it, battles for the first down.
Designed quarterback run. I'm sure Michigan fans at home are saying, where's the running game been from Denard Robinson? I mean, we've not seen him do much of anything in the option game. There's a designed run to try to get him the football, especially without Toussaint. Robinson's the real threat in trying to make something happen to be able to accelerate and get downfield. And you wonder if they're going to be a little shy in calling some of that, especially now because of that potential injury to that right shoulder.
End of the first quarter.
End of the first quarter. Alabama puts 3 touchdowns on the board against the Wolverines. And this presentation of Saturday Night Football, presented by Windows, will return after this message and a word from our ABC station.
College football in high definition is presented by Vizio.
Well, Herbie, you can see in the yardage disparity right now, 152 to 34. Bama has really jumped all over the Wolverines.
And they have been averaging their average drive starting close to midfield, right around midfield, right at their own 45. And Michigan seems like they've been at their own end of the field, and they can't get anything established. Now, they picked up a first down. Let's see if that helps Denard here. But I think they've got to still think about running him, using that option game. And I know with that shoulder, it's a concern, but they're going to have to do something in the running game. They're going to have to try to do something besides these backs.
Smith.
Just hard in there. That's tough sledding against that 3-4 defense.
There's a whole lot of running backs in the SEC.
Yeah.
I can tell you it's hard going that way against Bama.
And it's exciting to see these different players from Bama. They lost Chapman from a year ago, who was at the nose, Hightower and Upshaw, who are just outstanding players. And yet this defense tonight, because they understand the scheme up to this point, they're attacking and playing with a great deal of confidence and showing that same physicality that we've seen the last 4 or 5 years from Bama's defense.
Second down. Smith hit in the backfield. To follow up on what Herbie said, everybody take a look at the talent that was lost. 3 first-round draft choices off the defense, plus running back Trent Richardson.
He had Upshaw in there, who could have been a first-rounder. Chapman was a great player. Menzie. This defense, I think that's not just a question tonight, but this year. They have Arkansas in a couple weeks in Fayetteville. Everybody wants to know, how will this defense, with some new faces, how will they be able to grow and develop? And they're off to a pretty good start in the first half of the opener. Comes to blitz off to the left here.
3rd down and 10. Throwing long, incomplete. And it will be 4th down. That's D. Milner again, who made that interception.
Brent, I'm not going to say that this guy is the best corner, but I'm going to tell you what. He's living up to the high standard that Nick Saban has for his defensive backs. Again, he already had the interception. He is 6'1", 200 pounds. He has the size, amazing quickness. And today, they're putting him into the boundary. Usually they're right and left, but because he's such a good tackler in the run game, this time, today, in this game, they've decided to put him into the boundary so he can help out in run support.
Hargrove punting again. And Jones will field this one at about the 18-yard line. And Jones still battling now to the 33-yard line. A tough night so far for Denard Robinson and the Wolverines. Can they find some magic?
Country. Barrett Jones, center, University of Alabama.
The Outland Trophy winner a year ago, Barrett Jones, is now eyeing the Remington Trophy as the top center. Remember, he was the left tackle a year ago. Only one player, Greg Esslinger, in 2005 from Minnesota, has won both the Outland and the Remington the same year. And here comes the freshman Yeldon, breaking a tackle, first down, running to daylight, midfield, 40, 35, 30, stumbles. Oh my. Oh my. What do we have here?
Well, the thing that stood out to me, I talked about his acceleration. Brent, he broke 3 tackles on this play. It's well blocked, nice hole. There's an arm tackle, there's an arm tackle, there's an arm tackle. This guy is not just fast, he's going to run through those arm tackles.
From the pistol, there's a penalty flag. They threw the quick screen to the freshman Amari Cooper, who we've been waiting to see, number 9.
The left guard.
He's from Northwestern High in Miami.
First down.
One of the most ballyhooed freshman receivers in the country, and Nick Saban's got his eyes on him. He thinks he's got a terrific future. So here is Barrett Jones, and Jones, remember, has played on 2 national championship teams. Started at right guard against the Texas Longhorns, left tackle against the LSU Tigers.
Pretty good resume.
And if they get back, he'll be the center against whoever.
And one of the classiest guys you'll ever talk to. What a great guy.
First down, and nothing to do with D. Hart, his first carry. He's the redshirt freshman, 5'9", from Orlando, Florida. Desmond Morgan with the stop for the Wolverines.
Really impressed with the execution of this offense. I mentioned earlier, Doug Messmeyer has come in. You and I talked with him this week along with Heather. Instead of bringing his own offense in from Washington and Steve Sarkisian, he came in and adopted the offense they already had, learned the terminology, but with a new offensive coordinator, same type of execution for Bama's offense.
Amari Cooper's down to the left. A.J. with a quick glimpse. Now looking downfield in that direction, going to keep it. Going to take it out of bounds. And at the very end, A.J. going out of bounds, and there's a penalty flag on the sideline here.
They're discussing, it looked like a helmet-to-helmet hit. Bama tight end came back on a peel block.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, offense, number 84. 15-yard penalty, second down.
Is that Brian Vogler?
Yes.
Let's take a look at this. If it was 84, keep an eye on him.
He's coming right in at number 8.
This J.T. Floyd.
This is that rule where it's a gray area. I mean, by rule, by what they're emphasizing now, you can see why they call this, but we just met with an official just the other day on that exact same call. And I said, now, if you're coming back and I'm chasing you down and I lower the boom on you, according to a lot of officials, that's just football. That's a good, hard hit. There are going to be some violent collisions.
T.J. Yeldon checks back in. He's a good receiver. Here he comes. Screen pass down the sideline. Got an alley. And he's to the 8-yard line. Thomas Gordon makes the stop for the Wolverines.
How about the call here, Brent, on 3rd and long? Kovacs, linebacker Ross is coming on the blitz. This is perfectly timed with Michigan bringing pressure, and a veteran quarterback like McCarron sees the whole thing develop, tosses it over to his young freshman running back, and there's nobody left because of the blitz. An easy first down once McCarron recognized the pressure.
Doug Nussmeier calling the plays for Bama. He replaced Jim McElwain, who's now the head coach at Colorado State. In the red zone now for McCarron. And here's the handoff, and the freshman to the 5-yard line. So they're trying to get T.J. Yeldon his first score of the game. Let's go back to Nussmeier. For 3 years, Herbie, he was out at Washington. Now remember, Jake Locker was one of his quarterbacks. But without Locker last year, the Huskies scored 57 touchdowns and 431 points. Saban knew what he was doing when he went out and hired Nussmeier as his offensive coordinator.
Sure,
there he is to the left. He said all of the Idaho passing. Used to beat up on the Montana Group.
Did he really? How about Alabama here? 2nd down and goal at the 5. 3 receivers. Shotgun for McCarron.
Lob one-on-one and incomplete. The receiver could not get open.
I'm just really impressed to see A.J. McCarron and the command that he has right now of this offense. Just yesterday, I mean, think about this. A year ago, seems like yesterday, he was trying to get in here and show that he should be the quarterback over Phillip Sims. And I think from the Penn State game on last year in State College, he became the guy. But after the year he had, it's amazing what a year can do. And, of course, the success that he enjoyed allows him to play with such command now.
Eddie Lacy, the power back, checks in for this 3rd and goal. McCarron in trouble, has to throw away. Smart move on his part. Wolverines were closing in, didn't want to take the loss, and so that will send in the hero from the national championship game in New Orleans. Jeremy Shelley, 5 field goals. How about that? They botched an extra point in that game. One of only 2 that they botched all of last year, but he comes away with 5 field goals.
Not a bad deal. Not a bad memory for him. McCarron's the holder here.
They switched it. A.J. ran a fake field goal for a touchdown against Arkansas, but Nick would like to take a look at his field goal team this year. 24-0. Bama in complete command of this Cowboy Classic.
Go further. Dr. Pepper tuition giveaway. Learn more at drpepper.com. And Aflac, official partner of the Heisman Trophy.
Aerial coverage being provided by the MetLife blend. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. MetLife, I can do this. Kate Foster with the ball on the tee. He's been a busy kickoff man tonight, and so too has the freshman return man, Dennis Norfleet, redshirt freshman from Detroit. Standing back on the Wolverine 2-yard line. From 2 yards deep, he's coming out. Got a seam. 30, 35. I think I saw a penalty flag. Let's check it, though, for a second.
Block in the back. That's when it looks like Michigan can get a little bit of momentum.
That's Ross, I believe, who was guilty of the penalty. Being coached up on the sideline here by Brady Hoke.
Block in the back. Receiving team, number 15.
Kirby, let's take a look at the Pacific Life game summary so far. And I don't have to tell you, it has been dominated by Alabama. I mean, all you have to look at is the total yards.
Well, 233 to 34. Michigan averaging under 2 yards a play. They had the turnover off the interception. See at the bottom, you have Alabama averaging close to midfield every drive they've had. The thing at the top, 128 yards rushing, 105 passing. outstanding balance for Nussmeier in his first game here for Alabama as an offensive coordinator.
Sticking with Vincent Smith as the running back. And this stout front for Bama. Eddie Stinson, Jesse Williams, Damian Square. Brandon Ivory has been in there.
These guys have done a good job of not just controlling the line of scrimmage after that opening drive, but I think it's just an understanding of what Kirby Smart and Nick Saban put together against a pretty complex offense from Al Borges. They are attacking, and they know exactly what gap they need to be in and how to fight through it.
It's Jesse Williams from Australia. Right over the center trying to press, and another penalty flag is thrown on that far side after the completion to Jeremy Jackson. He is the son of the running backs coach, Fred Jackson.
Defense number 3. 5-yard penalty. 13-second down.
Look at him. He's fired up because Sunseri did not time up his blitz right. He's up 24-0. You and I were talking at the break. He's working harder right now than he did at the beginning of the game.
This is what makes him a great coach.
Oh, no question.
Never stops working.
No.
And I mean that. He is always. Think of the assistant coaches, Herbie, that are being hired away from him that he's coached up, like Jim McElwain, just the late Kirby Smart. You know he's going to be hired by somebody soon.
Yeah.
Second down and 5. Smith.
Tell you, Brett, it's been going on the entire first half. The running game is a non-factor in Michigan's attack. Denard Robinson has 1 carry tonight. 1 for 3 yards. When Michigan last year started rolling late in the year against teams like Nebraska or Ohio State, I know it's different defenses and what they're facing tonight, he was a big part of their running game. Right now, Al Borges is looking down at this field wondering, what can I do to get number 16 on track tonight and become more of a factor?
Bama shows 4 down on this play. Short of the first down. That was DePriest, number 33. The one thing Nick Saban told us he's looking for with his linebackers, he wants an alpha dog. He said, we do not have an alpha dog yet. Now, he said it might be Nico Johnson, it might be DePriest, it might be C.J. Mosley, but I need somebody who can play every down.
The thing he has had is Rolando McClain handed that baton to Dante Hightower, and like you said, now who can that guy be? Nico Johnson would be a great guy, a great candidate because of his experience, but he comes out when they play nickel and dime.
Here comes great field position again, you would figure. Christian Jones standing back on the Bama 40. Under great pressure. Hogrup hangs it high, and here comes Jones. Close to midfield.
Again, look at the field position, starting right around midfield.
So we'll take a break. A.J. McCarron and the Bama offense about to come back to work. So it is 24-0 with A.J. McCarron trotting the offense out for Alabama. Greg McElroy won a national championship beating the Texas Longhorns and is now with the New York Jets. He's over on the sideline, and as soon as we finish this snap, we're going to take you down to Heather Cox with the quarterback who won one of Nick Saban's 2 national championships. D. Hart, incidentally, is the running back here with 7 minutes to go in the second quarter, and McCarron back to throw it. Drop. Let's go down now to Heather.
Brent, thanks so much, Greg. You're now with the Jets, but once a quarterback for Bama, went undefeated in 09, 14-0, won a national title. Do you see any traits in this team that you recall from that team?
Yeah, without question. I mean, this team, you can tell just by watching them that they have that determination and they have that spirit about them. Obviously, it's early, and there's a lot of games to be played, but certainly just the first glimpse of this 2012 Alabama team, I definitely feel good and proud to be an alumni.
Greg, Mark Sanchez couldn't do it. Tim Tebow couldn't do it. You threw the first touchdown pass for the Jets in the preseason on Thursday night. So does this mean that you're now going to be the new starting quarterback for the New York Jets?
I don't think that's the case. I don't think that's the case. Mark and Tim have been fantastic. I've had a great time working with them, and And obviously, this is just the first step in the journey. So we have several games left to go. It's very early, and we're going to have a lot of fun working together. I know we've enjoyed training camp, but there's a long way to go, and I think there's a lot of improvement to be made.
And last year, unfortunately, you were on the IR with a dislocated thumb. So this is really your first taste of the NFL. Describe what it's been like so far in this preseason.
Well, it's been a blast. It's been a blast. I mean, we've really had a good time. Obviously, we have a great team, a great group of guys around me. We've really just had a blast. I mean, I can't complain whatsoever. I think we're going to have a great team. We have great unity. We have, the goals that are laid out for us, and a bit of nostalgia, obviously, watching Bama. I miss the college game, but at the same time, I'm so proud and so honored to be a Jet. And I look forward to continue to have more opportunities.
Well, it's been fun to see how fired up you are down here talking to Barrett Jones and AJ, and continued success to you as well.
Thank you so much.
Fred?
Hey, thank you, Heather. And Herbie Jake Long making a defensive play there for the Wolverines.
Yeah, they forced a punt on a 3 and out. I was glad to hear him say they have great unity on the Jets, because they're going to need it.
No truer words were ever spoken.
They are going to need it.
Anyway, ask him if he's not the starter. Stir up that quarterback controversy in the Big Apple.
Best of luck with that.
Here's Gallen. Going to be down inside. Remember, the ball's the thing. And it was down. How about Sanseri, one of the starting safeties, and the son of the defensive coordinator of Tennessee, down the ball at the 1-foot line. The two starting quarterbacks the last time these teams met in that famous 2000 Orange Bowl.
I think I've got it.
Okay, think about it.
I know one is a
yeah, well, yeah, we all know one.
Yeah. I got two candidates for the other one.
Oh, okay, good. We'll get back to you.
Get back to you. I'll think it over.
Thomas Rawls in as the Michigan running back. Alabama's defense ready to try to tee him up here inside the 5. Play action. Borges going to throw out of the end zone. Great time. Goes down the sideline. Devin Gardner in the air can't hang on.
They continue to throw the ball back into the boundary, which means there's number 28 again. You've got D. Milner, who's waiting back there. Doesn't have help behind him with a safety. And actually, Gardner does a decent job of separating himself. But you could see the recovery, the vision to find the ball, which is what Nick Saban and Kirby Smart work with their defensive backs on. Find the ball and be able to knock it away from the receiver. Nice job of high pointing by Gardner, but a better job by Milner to knock it away.
Second down. Play clock down to 4. Hanging ahead with Rawls. That may be a yard out of that, and now it's 3rd and long. Nico Johnson.
It's almost like against this running game with the 3-4, Bama isn't necessarily surging to get upfield. It's like they're building a fence. They're just building a wall on every running play, and there's nowhere for these backs or Denard Robinson to run because they can't get outside, and because these defensive linemen and linebackers are winning their gaps, there's just nowhere to run. Michigan's going to call a timeout here.
That would be their first timeout used here. Okay, Herbie, here's the Aflac question. Now, the two starting quarterbacks in that famous Orange Bowl.
It was a great game. Tom Brady,
yes,
Michigan.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to roll with Andrew Zhao from Alabama.
Right, Herbie starts the season. Andrew Zhao starting for Alabama at quarterback. Let's take you back to that great Orange Bowl game into overtime. Tom Brady with the touchdown pass. Zhao answering with one for Alabama. And then it came down to the extra point, and it was missed in overtime. Michigan and Lloyd Carr with a huge 35-34 win down in the Orange Bowl of Miami. What a great, great football game that was, of course, this year, the Discover Orange Bowl. And then after that game, about a week later, the BCS National Championship game in Miami.
Now, do you remember who the real star of that Alabama offense was?
Yes, the running back, Alexander.
Yes. The bonus question.
Oh, I got a bonus question for you on that game. Here we go now. On 3rd down and 9. Into the middle, intercepted. Picked off. Touchdown, C.J. Mosley. Remember, he picked Jefferson in the BCS championship game.
Mosley is the most athletic linebacker that Alabama has. All he did here, Brent, is just read the eyes of Denard Robinson.
Shelley tacks up the extra point. 4.5 minutes left in the second quarter, and Bama dominated.
Once they down that ball inside the 2-yard line, you wondered if something big might happen. Mosley's just right in the middle, and I want you to watch how he's just mirroring the quarterback, reads his eyes, moves a little to the left there, right into the passing lane. But Denard Robinson was so anxious on third down to get the ball out of his hands that he telegraphed the pass back to the right. He led the linebacker right to it. He's trying to get it to Gardner. Mosley sees his eyes, an easy interception. Reminds me of last year against the Florida Gators when Mosley had a big pick six for the Alabama defense.
But you remember the BCS championship when he intercepted the pass?
Yes.
And he went down with an injury, didn't come back in the game.
Absolutely.
He's still standing after this
He
pick
is.
six.
And you talked about trying to find that true alpha. I mean, who can become that guy for this defense? I think Mosley, because of he's so versatile. He's a guy that he can be on the field on first down, on second down, on third down. And I think his leadership, although he's not as vocal maybe as some of the others, he has another way of just making plays, and guys will follow them.
You know, Nick told us, I think we've got talent on this defense. We just lack experience. Yes, he does have some talent on this defense.
I don't think talent will ever be a question in Tuscaloosa if Nick Saban is the coach, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But if I'm an Alabama fan, I am very excited by what I've seen from my defense in this first half.
Fielded again by Norfleet. About a yard inside the end zone. To the 25 as we go to Robert Flores in the studio for an update. Robert?
Brent, Texas trailed Wyoming early in Austin, but since then they've scored 17 unanswered points. Here's a nice touchdown run by DJ Monroe. Yeah, man. And Texas leads 21-9 late first half in Austin. Brent, Kirk.
All right, Robert. Hey, I've got some Longhorn fans in Montana. Get that up on DirecTV. Get that Longhorn network up there so we can see the horns. How's that for a pop?
There you go. They had a big week this week.
Yeah, they did. Thomas Rawls. He's the running back for the Wolverines. Stop short of the 30-yard line.
Bonus question.
The bonus question, who was the MVP of that Orange Bowl game? It was not Tom Brady.
Anthony Thomas, maybe?
No, it was David Terrell, the wide receiver.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was a good Michigan team.
It was
they could have used a few of those boys out here tonight.
Oh, yeah. Brady and that Patriot offensive line would help.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, Bama looks good on this side of the ball. All these new faces.
Look at Bama shifting there. Second down, 7 yards to go. Denard is back again to pass. Going to throw it deep. Got Gallen open. Put it in his hands. Gallen toward the end zone, just short of it. Down at the 1-yard line. Sunseri finally bringing him down, but it's a 71-yard gain and a little bit of Robinson magic here.
He had time to throw, and this time he shows you what kind of arm strength he has. Gallen, I think, pound for pound, could be the best receiver on this Michigan roster. I'll tell you, he really aired that out. I think the Alabama defense felt that they were in position. I don't think they thought he could throw the football this far. I mean, he threw that ball about 55 or 60 yards downfield. The junior college corner, Blue, just kind of tries to catch up with Gallen, but that ball is perfectly thrown over his shoulder.
First and goal, and play is being stopped here. It was interesting.
The ruling on the field that the receiver was down short of the goal line is under further review.
So Jim Blackwood is the Big 12 replay official, and he is upstairs off to our left, and he will take a look at that play. Herbie, I want to go back on Blue. He was the corner, and when you showed that replay, he went to Alabama and could not qualify. Then he went to Northeast Mississippi Community College for a couple of years. And you know, sometimes the JC transfers, it takes them a time, and that was a beautiful move that Gallen put on.
Yeah, he gave him a nice move. I think this is where, if there's one concern for Nick Saban's defense, along with Kirby Smart, it's whether or not Blue is a junior college player, and even Vinny Cincinnati, even though he played last year, how quickly they communicate and get on the same page. And that time, Cincinnati came over a little bit late, but he got behind Blue in coverage.
The ruling on the field is confirmed. The wide receiver is down short of the goal line. First down, Michigan.
You know, Michigan has one edge on LSU, Alabama's last opponent. Do you know what it is?
One first down. Oh, cross midfield.
They cross midfield.
Yeah, first
before
down.
the fourth quarter.
They got there. They got there.
First time that the Wolverines have crossed midfield. I believe that was Hoke down there calling a timeout. He burns the second timeout. And a penalty flag. Let me see now. Is there 12 men out there?
Yes, there is. I think they're trying to discuss.
Quickly count 12?
There's 12.
And
I think they're trying to talk about, did they get the timeout in before? Remember, there was a timeout for the review.
Yeah, illegal. 12 men out there. There was no question. As they came back toward the sideline with that timeout, there were 12 players out there.
Before Michigan called a timeout, they had 12 men in the huddle. That's an illegal formation. Offense. 5-yard penalty.
I think the reason, Brady Hoke's got to be very frustrated. It's a timeout to be able to review the play, and then they go back out with 12 men on the field.
I disagree. Let's use 12 against Alabama's 11 guys here. Come on. Let's even things up a little bit. You got a handicap in golf.
Whatever it takes.
Let's do it.
Slide an extra guy in there.
Just kidding, Wolverine fans. Just kidding. Vincent Smith will be your running back. Ball is now back outside the 5, and Gallen was close to scoring before that penalty. So it'll be first and goal from right there. Roy Roundtree, very quiet, is off to the left of the formation. Denard picks his way, cuts back toward the end zone, waiting for the signal. Touchdown, Michigan.
It took an amazing effort by Denard Robinson to be able to pull this play off. You don't see very many people run the football in against an Alabama defense inside the 10-yard line. You just don't see it. He got the defense flowing so fast that he was able to cut back against the defense and against their speed and somehow squirm his way to the goal line to get that touchdown.
So here's the kicker from West Palm Beach, played at Cardinal Newman High School, Brendan Gibbons. Left foots it. And it is 31-7, and a little life here for the Wolverines and Denard Robinson.
There's a quarterback design run. It's like a off tackle player, zone play. You see the defense overflowing. Really good block that time by Omame, and he just cut it back. Omame's coming around trying to help out, pick up somebody. He gets up Nico Johnson. He locks up on him, but I think that was pure determination and just raw athletic ability that time by the quarterback. It's the first time we've seen him turn it loose into this Bama defense.
With just 2 races left until the chase, Greg Biffle, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt are locked in. But Carl Edwards, Kyle Busch, and Jeff Gordon are battling for that wild card spot. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series is in Atlanta tomorrow, 6:30 on ESPN. Greg Biffle enjoying a great season. A year ago it was smoke. Tony Stewart, but there's Jimmy Johnson lurking.
There's Jimmy.
That's your guy.
All about Jimmy. The 48. That's all I know.
That way. Wild kicks it off deep. Jones will take a knee and come out on the 25-yard line. Coming up on the Northwestern Mutual halftime report, John Anderson and Jesse Palmer will have all the day's big highlights. Boy, it was tough for Northwestern, but they pulled it out on that last drive against Syracuse.
That was probably the most exciting game of the day as far as going back and forth and back and forth. That was Northwestern off to a good start. That was a big win for Pat Fitzgerald. You see Alabama, it's not just the backs that we've talked about. They're averaging over 5 yards until they get touched by a Michigan defender. That offensive line that we thought would assert themselves definitely has.
Lacey back in and hit for a loss by Jordan Kovacs, one of the vocal leaders, and the Wolverines coming off that touchdown. That could spark them a little bit here.
You never know. They deferred. They get the ball to start the second half, so they're trying to build some momentum here. Kovacs is just a great story. This week, anytime you talk to anybody from Ann Arbor about Kovacs, and you and I have followed him for a number of years now, everybody lights up. They get excited to talk about him. He's what Michigan football is about. First one there, last one to leave, team captain this year and a leader.
Second down and 11. Lacey, not much doing there. It's going to be third and long, and that was Brennan Meyer.
Is that ball loose? Michigan defense is jumping in there thinking they may have a fumble, but Alabama still will have the ball. But right now, hey, listen, you're at home, you're watching, it's 31-7. You're saying, hey, Bama's up big. This is comfortable. This is the first game of the year. I mean, if you're Michigan, you want to see your team fight, not just at the end of this half at 31-7. You want to see them fight for 4 quarters regardless of the score.
Third down and 9. Great draw play. Lacey upended at the 35-yard line by Kovacs again, but close to that first down spot. Incidentally, Herbie, I just got word from our producer Bill Bonnell that USC leads Hawaii at the half 35-0. So some of those folks who've been watching the Trojans are checking in here, and they might be eyeing Alabama for a little beating down the road.
That would be, in a perfect world, objectively speaking, it'd be fun to see Matt Barkley against an Alabama defense.
Wouldn't that be something? And after that first down, he comes right back with another one. Kevin Norwood, who had a fine championship game against LSU, up with that catch.
So Bama looked like they were in kind of kill the clock mode, and they pick up a first down on that draw. And now they're in hurry up, and they're thinking about trying to get 3 more points on the board.
Here's McCarron, pockets clean, snaps it off. They stop the clock, back to Norwood. What an efficient looking offense with A.J. McCarron. You mentioned the Heisman Trophy and Matt Barkley. I really think one of the sleepers this year is A.J. McCarron. I thought so coming out of the championship game last year. The defense was great. They wove a shutout.
Yeah.
But I think you and I talked about how good McCarron had played in that game.
McCarron is going to come down to whether or not he's going to have the chance to have the numbers to be able to stay up there.
That's a good point.
You know, because they're going to be so balanced. Geno Smith at West Virginia, if you're looking for kind of a dark horse who can eventually put some numbers up, and his team, I think, is going to have a great year. Some question right now about the game clock.
Well, the clock operator.
There they go.
The clock will start on the snap.
Receiver got out of bounds there. The clock should have stopped, and they're fixing that.
Yeah, so put the 9 back on.
But you and I, we both have seen it in this first half. Number 10 in the Crimson. Completely different looking guy this year than what we saw last year. And he was good last year, but now he just looks like a guy who he's seeing everything.
Steps out to the left. Lacey, they're going to have to get a timeout quickly or he's going to run the clock out. Fumble! Michigan had, I believe that was Taylor, Raymond Taylor. Yes, he recovered it. And as the time was running out here in the first half, I think Alabama's already headed toward the locker room.
Brent, wait till you see the block by Christian Jones on the middle linebacker, Kenny Demmons. I mean, I think it was either an ear pad or a mouthpiece went flying.
There is no foul on the play. The block in question has been deemed legal. That's the end of the first half.
I'm sure the block that I was talking about is probably the play they were in question. Watch this 25, clean hit. Mouthpiece flies out. That's a receiver matched up against a middle linebacker.
So A.J. McCarron and the defending national champion Alabama Crimson Tide roll into the locker room at halftime with a 31-7 lead for Coach Nick Saban. Bama dominating. And let's go to Heather Cox with Coach.
Brent, thanks so much. Coach, you came into the game with a lot of new faces on defense. How have you been able to contain Michigan's running game?
Well, I think the guys are playing good. They're doing a good job of executing the game plan. Gave up a big play, the last time we were in there, which, this guy's capable of making big plays. This game is far from over. We need to play for 60 minutes. We got to do a better job of holding the ball on offense, too.
Well, offensively, you do have 3 running backs that are making an impact. How does running back by committee help your offense?
Well, I don't think it's running back by committee. I think it's a lot of good players getting an opportunity to play. So, I don't know what's wrong with that.
It's all good. Thanks, Coach. Brent?
Thank you, Heather.
I don't think anybody said there's anything wrong with it. Got a lot of great
you
players.
gotta love him. Up 31-7. Alabama rolling. And stay tuned for the Northwestern Mutual halftime report with John Anderson and Jesse Palmer right after this.
Tyler and Terry, weeknights at 6 and 10, starting September 10th.
This is Dick's Sporting Goods Kickoff Week.
Welcome back to Saturday Night Football on ABC, presented by Windows.
A dead man sing, such a good thing just can't be wrong. No, you can't get too much love. Why don't you feel it in your belly? Go get you some. Can't get too much love. So give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Welcome back to the Cowboys Classic from Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas. 31-7, Alabama leading Michigan. Early 140 yards passing, 140 yards rushing. Alabama very balanced, as you pointed out, in that first half. But what about the Wolverines here in the second half?
They're going to get the ball here to start the second half. They're down big. It'd be interesting to find out how they plan to attack. The one thing you have to believe is that Alabama's entire game plan is to be able to keep Denard Robinson in the pocket when he throws. They're almost not even rushing the quarterback. They're just building a fence against the run game and just letting Denard Robinson throw from the pocket. And they want to see if anybody else can make a play to be able to beat him. It worked in the first half. Michigan has seen that. What I want to see is Denard Robinson come out here, keep fighting, which you know he will, throw the football, get the ball downfield. He's still going to have to mix in some run. It's just so hard to do against this defense.
It is indeed. And of course, as Coach Saban pointed out to Heather, it's a 60-minute game. Let's go down to Heather now.
On the flip side, I was able to talk to Brady Hoke, who unfortunately, guys, is very sick, has lost his voice, but had enough of a voice to tell me he's shocked they've only gained 20 yards on the ground. He said we've got to run better by blocking better. That's the key for us. In the second half, we've also got to stop Bama's big plays. I asked about Denard Robinson's shoulder, and he said it's absolutely fine, hasn't received any treatment throughout the game, and will be the go-to quarterback in the second half.
And Heather, to follow that up, he threw a very good pass after that injury. And if you weren't with us, folks, and you missed how he was nicked, it was stopping a defensive back after an interception. He threw his shoulder into. So here we go. Foster to kick it off. And the return man is Norfleet, and he has been busy. Wide to the right, and he is down at about the 22 as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary with all the numbers in Bama's favor.
Well, is that balance? I mean, that's how you get it done in a first half, rushing and throwing the football. I think that's kept Michigan off balance defensively, and A.J. McCarron has had a field day against the defense, 12 first downs, and we talked a lot about it. What can Michigan do against this front seven of Alabama? Is they're going to have to make some plays in a pass game.
I remember Coach told Heather he wanted to run the ball better. Devin Smith runs on first down to about the 25-yard line. Or Vincent Smith. Let me correct myself on the first name. Vincent Smith, the ball carrier.
Well, Vincent Smith, between he and Thomas Rawls, who are in for Fitzgerald Toussaint, he has a little bit more wiggle and a little bit more acceleration. Gives you at least a fighting chance. I think Thomas Rawls, from what we've seen from him, more of a power back, but he's not had any success. He has 4 carries tonight for just 6 yards against the Bama defensive speed.
Gallen motions out, and there's a false start.
False start. Offense number 77. 5-yard penalty, second down.
That's the 5th penalty against Brady Hoke and the Wolverines in this game. There have been 5 against Bama in the first half.
And if you're Brady Hoke, you talk to this team at halftime, you're down 31-7. The last thing you said, the first thing you said was, we get the ball in the second half. We're going to get the ball. We're going to drive the length of this field. We're going to get points on the board. One thing you can't do against any defense, let alone Nick Saban's, is have a false start.
Now they need 12 yards as a result of it. Blitz fires off of it to that spot. Great pickup by Denard Robinson, and Dillio makes it out to the 40-yard line. That was a great read by Denard Robinson on the safety blitz.
Yeah, Sunseri came, prevented by Sunseri coming, and there's a void in the zone. I'll tell you what, Denard Robinson there had to get the ball out of his hands quickly because the seam is closing fast. Mosley from the inside, Blue from the outside. Great throw. Better timing that time from Denard and his receiver.
They're playing bump and run on Gardner, and they'll run the other way with Robinson. And not much doing as the Bama defense rides with it, and Nico Johnson makes the stop.
You know, that slow developing play where it's just an outside stretch play for the quarterback design run. He's waiting to find that crease, and then he tries to get upfield. A lot of times in the Big Ten, you're not going to have penetration. Against Alabama, see, he's waiting for this play to be able to develop. And by the time he's done waiting, the linebackers from Alabama have already closed in and caught up from behind to be able to make the play against him. Too slow developing against the speed of Bama's defense.
Play action, wide open, and he overthrows Gallen. Slipping out of the backfield, then he threw it just a little bit too far in front of him, and that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8.
Alabama fans know about Adrian Hubbard, but SEC fans are going to get used to him. Number 42. He didn't sack Denard Robinson. He didn't pressure him. But his length, he's 6'6", 248 pounds, long arms, and just because of his length going up into the air to be able to try to knock the ball down, it forced Denard Robinson to throw the ball high, and he overthrew a wide open wide receiver.
They stack 3 to the right. And Denard runs out of it, but he is short of the first down as Bama comes up. Lester was coming in on the pressure.
They brought Lester, as you said, but it was a good job. Usually that's where Denard Robinson makes his plays on 3rd down. It's a broken play, and he's able to find a crease in the defensive pressure and then get upfield in a hurry. But that time you have D. Milner waiting for him, sitting at home, very disciplined, and able to make the tackle short of the 1st down.
He's been a good punter here tonight. Hangs it high. There's a fair catch. He's going to let this one go and hope it goes to the end zone. And it is in. It will come out on the 20. The rule change does not include punts into the end zone. 31-7. We'll be right back.
Is presented by Vizio.
Herbie, I'm going to give you 3 games. Washington at LSU next week. Baton Rouge. Georgia at Missouri. SEC opener for Mizzou. Or Florida with the SEC opener against Texas A&M. Where are you going to send game day?
Where am I going to send game day, huh? 2 great choices there with the Missouri first SEC game and A&M's first SEC game.
Bama with a completion. And Norwood breaks away and turns it into a huge gain. What a great run.
Alabama is far from finished in this game, up 31-7. First possession of the second half. Play action pass going right after the safety. Thomas Gordon, who's out there one-on-one with Kevin Norwood. Kevin Norwood does not get enough credit. This is a guy who stepped up in the national championship game, made some big catches. Look at that stiff arm there against a linebacker, Desmond Morgan. One-on-one coverage against the safety against Kevin Norwood is a favorable matchup for A.J. McCarron.
So they've got a 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. There's a handoff to Yeldon, the freshman, and he crosses midfield. Well, Herbie, let's see. We gave you 2 SEC openers. Baton Rouge. Where are you going to go? Because I'll follow you.
Oh, yeah, right. I say that Texas A&M and Kyle Field with the Florida Gators coming in. I think that's the place.
Up five. Kyle Field.
Kyle Field.
That's where game day's headed, right?
Game day is heading there.
And I get to join you on ESPN for an afternoon game.
Afternoon.
Because NASCAR is right here on ABC.
Right.
So there we are. Florida, Texas A&M, 3:30 Eastern on ESPN. Here's Yeldon, the freshman. He was spectacular in the first half. He is just one step away, folks, every time. Demons, the linebacker, makes the stop.
Watch this offensive line. Watch Barrett Jones right in the middle. Big center. Remember, he's moved from left tackle to center. The line does a great job of just pushing the Michigan defense sideways. And he puts his foot in the ground right there. Good vision, nice patience, outstanding blocks up front by Alabama. Look at Chance Warmack, 65, doing his job. And that acceleration is beautiful from the true freshman.
And Herbie Warmack, he played on 2 BCS championship teams, as did Barrett Jones, who's snapping the ball, Anthony Steen, Fluker, and Quanjo are the tackles on this line. Oh, McCarron sacked for the first time, and it was big Will Campbell.
Greg Madison's doing everything he can to get pressure. Will Campbell has dropped 30 pounds this year. He fights through a double team, able to get around the Alabama offensive line. And I tell you, Brent, he's playing lower, and he's much, much faster. He needs to make more plays like that for this Michigan defense.
Let me correct myself. That was the second sack. And that's a 16-yard loss. So it'll be 2nd and 26. Play action. McCarron steps away, slides down at midfield, and let's check in with Robert Flores for an update. Robert?
All right, Brent. Dr. Pepper 10 SEC update right now. Good one going on at the Georgia Dome between number 14 Clemson and Auburn. Taj Boyd, DeAndre Hopkins. And Clemson is leading 23-19 late in the fourth quarter on ESPN, and they're driving. Brent.
Herbie, what a start that would be for Clemson.
That's big. I think of all the games played this weekend, that's the game where a team who's going to win had the most to gain, and the team that lost had the most to lose. So a lot at stake in Atlanta, in my opinion. Clemson gets out of there with a win. That would be big.
3rd and 22 for Bama. Here comes the blitz. Snaps it off complete. Breaking the tackle, and that's Amari Cooper, the freshman from Miami's Northwestern High School. And he could have a tremendous future.
He's the next superstar here. He makes the catch. But watch Anthony Steen, the guard. Stay up, young freshman. I'm going to push you downfield here and try to help you out. Steen's trying to get out there to pick up a block. There's the little bubble screen there. Fluker throwing a jab there at Black.
But 335 pounds of jab, by the way, when you say Fluker.
You're right about Amari Cooper, though. You can just see him. He has got a great future.
Herbie, Foster is going to try a long field goal. He's the long man now for the Crimson Tide. That's a 52-yarder. Slips to the left.
Plenty of distance.
Well, Michigan lives to fight again. They'll come back with another opportunity to score here in the second half.
Brought to you by Dick's Sporting Goods. Every season starts at Dick's. UPS. Let UPS put the power of logistics to work for you. And Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites.
Ride 'em, Cowboy, and young'uns chase them, sheep. Stockyards Championship Rodeo, Herbie, is in Fort Worth every Friday and Saturday year-round. And that could be pretty exciting. Now, there's some good Cowboys.
You hit the rodeo out in Montana every Friday night, don't you?
You betcha. Cold six-pack and a pickup truck and a rodeo, baby. Putting old Waylon Jennings tunes on. Here's a handoff down to one of the big fellas, Rawls. And let's check in down below with Heather.
And without two starters for the rest of the game, one on each side of the ball, corner Blake Couches, who hurt his knee in the first quarter. They iced it, decided to reevaluate at halftime. I've just been told he will not return. Now on the offensive side of the ball, tight end Brandon Moore also out, injured his knee, not coming back. Bad news for Michigan fan, guys.
Yeah, indeed, Heather, because the loss of Countess on that corner really weakened their defense. And here now, Denard Robinson, second down and 5 for the Wolverines, trying to mount something, trying to keep this offensive line holding up. Denard takes off, slips, reaching for the first down, and this one's going to be close. They're going to give it to him. Mosley again. Been a struggle, Herbie.
Yeah, it's just been, of all the games that he started at Michigan, this is a game that you'd probably pick out as, and you knew it was going to be a battle. I mean, he doesn't have his starting tailback tonight. He's working in some new wide receivers. He doesn't have Junior Hemingway, so it's not necessarily a shock, but how dominating it's been is a bit of a surprise.
What is 71 yards of the 158 total on one play?
One play.
His quarterback draw. Here comes number 16 looking for daylight, and he's got some speed. So he finally danced and got outside, and that allows me to bring up the story that I've been waiting to bring up all night. Here's a young'un who thinks he can hang with the great Usain Bolt. Yeah, I'm not kidding now, folks. You may have heard the quote. Saw the great feature that was on Game Day earlier today. But here is what he said. I'm pretty sure I can beat Usain in a 40-yard dash. At 60 yards, I'd be in trouble. And at 100 meters, he'd be gone. But I'd get him in the 40.
He was on with Scott Van Pelt on that feature this morning. That's hilarious. Scott asked him, what about after 40? He's like, I'd be in trouble. And he said, how far? He goes, 1 yard. At 41 yards, he'd have me.
Okay. They hand off to Devin Smith. I think it's going to be 3rd and short. Let me show you this graphic, though, before we all laugh at number 16. I want you to see this, folks. He is a 4.32 40. Robert Griffin, with a 4.38, was the fastest quarterback in the combine last year, and Denard is faster. He has been timed at 40, so he might not have been woofing after all.
Oh, no, he can go, but you're talking about the fastest human being in the history of the world.
But it takes those long legs of Usain to get up to speed a little bit, Herbie. Thomas Rawls now on a big 3rd down here, folks. He's the running back alongside Denard. I'm sure Bama's going to keep an eye on 16 if he tries to keep it himself. They're going to run the option. Pitch it. Here's Rawls. Can he get there? No, because Sunseri unloads on the running back. Number 3 did his job. He had the pitch man, Herbie.
You're a defensive end. You got to make a decision on 3rd and short. Number 16 is going to come at you. The first thing you want to do is get the ball out of his hands. So as he comes down, Hubbard takes him out, forces the pitch, and that is perfect execution by Vinny Sunseri. Fills the hole and knocks Rawls out well short of the first down.
Somewhere there are a couple of former LSU players are saying, I feel your pain, because LSU tried that option in the championship game and got nowhere with it.
Into the boundary. Tough to do against the speed of this defense. 4th down here.
4th and 3. Smith's your running back. Michigan to go for it. Fumble the snap, takes off, broken play. Gonna go outside, reaches for it. And they're gonna down it and give him the first down, I believe.
Yes,
they are. There is that gutty effort by number 16, and blew the corner on the play. And Denard shake it up. He may have to come off the field for at least one play. But being tended to over there.
Brent, he extended himself to get across the first down, and it almost looks like he was reaching to his back. I think it's the way he tried to extend himself. What a great job of just picking the ball up. He gets outside of Hubbard, trying to get a block there by the former quarterback Gardner, and just by stretching and the way he turned his upper body, you could see him reaching back for on the back part of his looks like his lower back.
So Denard is being tended to, and meanwhile the redshirt freshman from right here in Arlington, Texas, number 8, Russell Bellamy, has walked onto the field. And it looks like he is going to replace the injured Denard Robinson. What a time for Bellamy's first game. Well, first things first, Denard Robinson moments ago was being helped off the field because of the injury, and then instant replay turned the 4th down run over. And Herbie, tell everybody why.
Well, watch his right elbow as he extends. If it's the front of his elbow, he's okay. It's the back of his elbow, and therefore they called him down right there. Replay called him down there. You can see the ball half a yard, maybe almost a full yard short of the 1st down. So great effort. Let's hope he's okay, but he comes up short of the 1st down Bama ball.
And T.J. Yeldon, the freshman, who has 81 yards rushing, is behind A.J. McCarron. Looking for a 100-yard gain in his first appearance. Burst to the 40-yard line.
What a great job by this offensive line. The freshman's getting a lot of attention, but Cyrus Quanjo on the left side with Chance Warmack. They're going to face a lot of offense or a lot of defensive lines this year, and they're going to do a lot of this. The tight end Michael Williams is helping out. Quanjo is a guy that got a lot of hype coming out of high school, the young sophomore. These backs are 5, 6, 7 yards downfield before they got to worry about a Michigan defender.
Yeldon needs 6 more yards for 100. Battling for it. I believe he has it right now. I believe Yeldon has hit the century mark as Denard trots back out. Let us check in with Heather Cox.
Brent, Denard Robinson didn't go back to the locker room, actually was just taken back into the tunnel out of sight. He was evaluated by head athletic trainer Paul Schmidt. It was interesting. Denard sort of slouched against the wall and then tested his legs, did some high steps as he came back out onto the field. Paul Schmidt told me he is cleared to play and has no ill effects from that hit.
That's good news, Heather. Meanwhile, Yeldon picked up 70, now has 101. He's out of the game. Lacey is the running back. Just short of that 1st down they give to Lacey, who has stopped, and there's a helmet off down there, isn't there? There's a penalty on it. If that helmet is off, you have to leave for one play, and D. Hart will come in.
Heard so much from the Michigan staff about trying to protect Denard Robinson. Think about tonight on that interception. He made a tackle with his right shoulder. An effort to try to pick up a 1st down. He extends himself. He's battered and bruised tonight trying to lead this offense.
3rd down and 2. Hart, play action. McCarron rolls to the left and incomplete. Was dropping it off to Fowler, who had lined up in the fullback spot. He's lined up as both back and the fullback.
He got a little cute there with a little shuffle pass, just trying an effort just to try to get it out there, but he short-armed it. If he could have that back, he'd probably like to throw that, the shoulders turn, and make an accurate throw. But he tried to hurry it a little bit, get the ball out quickly to Fowler. Didn't work out.
So at first, the offense stayed on the field for the Tide with the ball at the 34, but instead, Nick wants Cade Foster onto the field. Remember, the quarterback now is the holder in this sequence. This would be a 51-yard attempt. Bangs it. Got the distance. Got it. So Alabama tacks on another field goal, and they lead by 27. By Dr. Pepper, it'll be given to the winner of the 2013 Discover BCS Championship down in Miami. Norfleet has been busy, this time from the 3-yard line. Slammed down at the 12-yard line. I mean, even on special teams, Alabama just keeps on coming. Did pick a SEC team to play for the national championship. That was a Freudian slip, by the way.
I may have upset a few people.
My dear friend, who did you pick to play down there in Miami?
I picked Florida State to play USC. in the national championship game. But I would like to maybe make a change because, wow.
Now you're making a whole lot of people upset.
Yeah. Exactly.
There's that inside handoff to Smith. And going nowhere against that defense. But in fairness to you, I think we should point out that Alabama has to run against a very tough SEC West schedule.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to get a lot tougher. This is a great place to start. The new personnel on the defensive side did a good job. You know, really in 2 weeks, when they play Arkansas on the road, that's when we're going to find out really how good this defense is. I don't think there's a lot of questions about the offense. How good is this defense? We're going to find out in 2 weeks when they play Tyler Wilson at Arkansas.
Second down, incomplete, and it
a late hit on Denard by, looks like Nico Johnson.
Well, that'll give him a first down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Defense, number 35, targeting. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Nico Johnson came clean right up the middle. Some confusion in the protection. He gets a clear shot.
It was a touch late, didn't you think?
Yeah, it's late and it's high. Yeah. And anytime it's in a gray area there when a quarterback and a referee standing right there, they got to call it.
Yeah, I thought that was a good call. So that'll bring the ball out to the 30-yard line. And it will be 1st and 10. Play action. Bernard. Going to go down that far sideline. Gardner, and he's tripped. That's going to be interference on Sunseri. That's going to be 15 yards and an automatic first down.
Well, it's a slow developing play where Denard Robinson's sitting in that pocket, and he needs a lot of time.
Now, Nick was complaining the ball was not catchable.
That's right. And I think, and you look at the replay, I think that's what Sunseri is saying, too. There's no way that this receiver has a chance. Gardner has a chance to get to the ball. That's why they picked it up.
And they do change it. They say it was not catchable. So another one of the officials steps in and changes it.
Well, that's a good job by the crew getting together and talking about what they saw. Not only did he not have a chance, but the defensive back, Sunseri, had his head back looking to the football. And when a defensive back's looking at the football and there's incidental contact, he has every right to the football as much as that wide receiver does.
Second down and 10. Here comes Smith. Sweeping to the left. Down the sideline he goes. Crossing midfield. Boy, he walked the tightrope over there. I wasn't sure he could stay in bounds.
It's the first time we've seen a running back get out and have a chance to make a play. Really good block here by the big fullback, Hopkins, who does a good job of sealing the corner. Yeah, he holds on to his shoulder there maybe a little bit, gets away with it. But because he was able to seal that, it allowed the back to get to the outside of that block. And I think he was surprised himself that he was still in bounds, and he showed some pretty good speed down that sideline.
First down and 10 at the 48-yard line. Denard keeps it himself across the 45. And let's go to the studio for an update. Here's Robert Flores. Robert.
Brett, AT&T Player of the Week nominee is Ohio University quarterback Tyler Tettleton. 324 yards through the air against Penn State. 3 total touchdowns to lead the Bobcats to the upset win over the Nittany Lions. You can text VOTE to 34763. Results Thursday during the college game on ESPN. He's also the son of former Major Leaguer Mickey Tettleton.
Yeah, exactly. Mickey had a fine Major League career, and congratulations to Coach Frank Solich. Did a great job with that Ohio team in that upset of Penn State. Second down now. Here's a play action. Rolls a running back. Goes downside. Got Gardner wide open. Got him. Touchdown, Michigan. Devin Gardner converted from quarterback to wide receiver. And that play really showed you why. He's got some speed.
He has size, he has speed, and the defensive back, who's had a great night, Dean Milner, fell down in man-to-man coverage. So if you're wondering how did Gardner get so open, The best defensive back on Alabama's defense was isolated one-on-one, and he just slipped.
That's a 44-yard touchdown for Brady Hoke's Wolverines. And now trotting out is Gibbons. Tacks on the extra point. Gardner's first catch of the game, Harvey.
They've been trying to get the ball thrown downfield, and Gardner is right here. He's matched up one-on-one. One thing that he has is size, and this is a tough matchup for him because of how physical Milner is. But watch Milner go down right there. He looks back, turns his head back. Once he's on the ground, I'll tell you what, a good job. Great job by Denard Robinson seeing and not just locking into his receiver. He's looking downfield to Roundtree, and also Kennard found the corner, fall down, found him wide open, and made a good throw.
So the Wolverines trail it by 20 now. And if the defense can stand.
Hey, good sit, Lane. Good sit.
A little bit of that second half magic, perhaps, that we saw a year ago against the Fighting Irish.
You never know. You never know. That's why Nick Saban told Heather Cox walking off at halftime, 60-minute game. Got to keep battling.
Jones and Milner are back deep for the tie. Wild booms it. They'll bring this one out of the 25, and our aerial coverage is being provided by the MetLife Blim. See how MetLife can provide the coverage you need. MetLife, I can do this.
No, they had a nice mix on that last drive. They were able to get Vincent Smith down the sideline and make a nice play in the running game. And when you're running football and the way Alabama's pressuring Denard Robinson gives them a little bit more time for those longer plays that they're trying to get downfield. And that time on that drive, Denard did a good job of evaluating the defense and not necessarily locking into one receiver, making good reads, and gave himself a chance to move the ball down the field.
Here's an opportunity for that Wolverine defensive front. Greg Madison, that Black, Campbell, Rowe, all down. T.J. Yeldon, the freshman, over 100 yards, trying to get to the outside, and he's to the 32-yard line before Taylor comes up for the stop.
This is where Greg Madison, I'm sure, is challenging his defense to just make a play. I mean, get a turnover, get him into third down and long. We've got to get the ball back to our offense in Denard.
So we've come to the end of the third quarter. Alabama leads, but Michigan trying to mount a rally. And this presentation of Saturday Night Football presented by Windows will return after this message and word from our ABC station. Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech ranked number 16. What's your feeling about this one?
I think Georgia Tech could be a surprise team in the ACC. Tevin Washington, a year under his belt, running that option attack. But Virginia Tech has had an entire offseason to get ready for the option attack. And Logan Thomas, I think, will be the difference in the game.
8 Eastern Monday night. Here's Fowler. Will be on ESPN. Second down. Fowler bangs for the first down. Stays in bounds. And makes his way to midfield.
Well, that was a good run there by Fowler, but the true freshman, T.J. Yeldon, right now, 10 carries, 110 yards. We've seen a little bit of it all from him. Some balance, great vision, patience, some power. He running through 3 arm tackles here on this play alone. I think that Nick Saban got a little offended when he heard Heather Cox say committee of backs. That means, what does that mean? I got a bunch of great players. We all agree. Instead of seeing 2, we're seeing 3, maybe even 4 tonight.
And here's Hart.
Here's number 4 right here.
He checks in. There's the I-back behind Fowler. Fowler will lead the way now. And they're getting the corner on the Wolverine defense.
They're getting the corner because they're having so much success to the inside with their zone play. It's forcing this Michigan defense to slant and angle and take chances. So it's making some nice creases to the outside of the defense. I mean, they have done an exceptional job of mixing not just the play calling and not just the yards. They have 194 on the ground, 183 through the air. but they've done a good job of attacking different parts of the Michigan defense.
Fluker, Steed, Jones, Warmack, and Quanjo. Your offensive line from right to left for the Tide. And Hart for another first down. But they're starting to eat the seconds off the clock here in the fourth quarter.
Watch Barrett Jones, the center. Everybody wondered how would he make this adjustment from left tackle, where he was an outstanding player, to center. There's a combination block here. He helps on the nose, gets up to the second level on the linebacker, number 44, Desmond Morgan. And that is perfect technique that time by the senior Barrett Jones.
And that puts Bama over 200 yards rushing here, Herbie, behind this offensive line, which coming into the season was rated #1 in the country. And they have shown nothing here tonight for anybody to doubt that. There they are. Quanjo starts at left tackle, and Herbie told you Jones moves to center. What an interesting story Jones is. He's played guard and tackle on 2 championship games, and this year he's a center. There's Warmack and big Fluker over there on the right.
Jones going for the trifecta.
Isn't that amazing? How about playing on 3 national championship
at 3
teams
different positions on the offensive line?
I don't know that anybody ever claimed that.
No.
Still games ahead of Bama here, but they sure look good here tonight. McCarron firing. Williams couldn't hold on. He scored a touchdown early in this game. Put Bama on the board against the Wolverines.
6'6", using every inch of his body to try to pull that in. And McCarron, who says one of his best friends on the entire team is Michael Williams. He always tries to find a play to be able to get him the football so he can make a big play. You mentioned the touchdown he already has, and that time he almost came up with another big one.
Eddie Lacy will check in as a protector. You would expect McCarron to put it up from the gun here on 3rd down and 10. DeAndrew White, who caught a long touchdown, is down to the quarterback's right. Steps up, comes back. Jones overthrew him.
They went right back after Courtney Avery. He was isolated against Christian Jones. That's the next step for quarterbacks with experience. Not just recognizing the play and the coverage from the defense, but actually picking out the matchup that you want. The one single matchup that you want, and in your drop, making that read. He saw it with Jones going up against Avery, who's a step slower than Jones. He just didn't put enough air under it, but a great read by McCarron.
Mandel punting from midfield. Try to hang this one inside the 10, and Gallen will fair catch it at about the 7 or 8 yard line. Well, if Michigan is going to do anything here tonight in the fourth quarter, they'll need a spark right now. Sprint Cup Series at 6:30 on ESPN. The battle for the chase is really on. 2 races left until the chase begins, so a couple of spots still up for grabs there. That'll be fun tomorrow night. Here it is, the Wolverines trailing Alabama. Vincent Smith continues to be alongside Denard Robinson. And Smith going nowhere. And that was Hagan making the stop for Alabama.
That's been a tough night for Denard Robinson. An interception early to D. Milner, and on the end of the play, trying to make a tackle, gets him just blown up. In an effort, looked like his shoulder might be hurting him, holding him out. Here he's trying to extend for a first down, the lower back. But you know what? He got checked out. He's still out there. He's still battling, still fighting, and giving the Maize and Blue everything he's got.
Indeed. He is a tough little rascal. Play action from the end zone. Steps up in the pocket. Gallen goes up and grabs it for a big Michigan first down at the 26-yard line. Terrific effort by number 10.
And a terrific job here of managing the pocket by Denard Robinson. This is probably his best throw of the night. He's in the pocket. He gets some pressure. See the awareness there? He moves around, steps, and makes a throw, an accurate throw to give Gallen a chance. But it was his awareness in the pocket, feeling the pressure, not panicking and taking off, sitting in there, trusting that pass protection and making a good throw.
Gallen only 5'8". Had to go up for the 19-yard gain. 1st and 10. Smith. Brady Hoke and the Wolverines not getting away from the run as we take a look at the Pacific Life game summary. And Herbie, our 2 quarterbacks here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, A.J. McCarron, you could say he's managing this game. He's only completing 50% of his passes, but he's been able to avoid the mistakes. With Denard, not just the 2 interceptions, one of those a pick 6, and just been a bit rattled. It's nice to see that last throw where it was a big 3rd down, deep in his own territory, made a nice throw to try to keep this drive alive.
2nd and 8.
Eight-man front.
Play action. Waits. Now goes deep. Roundtree and almost intercepted by Censeri, who had deep center field on the coverage.
I'm sitting there looking at that play, and I'm thinking, we've not called Roy Roundtree's name yet tonight. He's lined up, and he had one-on-one coverage. Censeri was back there behind it. Really, that time, Denard Robinson just put the ball up in the air and just hoped that Roundtree would eventually be able to run to the football, but Censeri is back there because of his discipline and awareness. But Roy Roundtree is a guy that I think this Michigan offense felt he was going to be the young man that would step up for Junior Hemingway. He only had 19 receptions a year ago. He had 72 receptions his sophomore year, and tonight he hasn't made a catch yet.
I believe he burned a timeout.
First charge timeout, Michigan.
So we'll take a break. 10:14 to go. Alabama 34, Michigan 14, facing a big 3rd and 8 when you come back.
ABC, presented by Windows. Allstate. Allstate is a proud sponsor of the Allstate Sugar Bowl. Are you in good hands? And Nissan. Innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites.
A Cowboy Stadium attendance record for a college football game. 90,413 on hand here. Standing room only to watch 2 of the great brands in college sports. Michigan facing a 3rd and 8 against Alabama. And it is 4th down coming up. Let's see what coach elects to do. The special teams coach is waiting for him to make a decision. And here comes the punting team.
Boy, Bama does such a good job. They've always done a good job on 3rd down with creativity. Tonight, they've given Denard Robinson and his offensive line so many different looks that whether they're pressuring or they're only rushing 3 or only rushing 4, they've really got Denard and the line kind of on their heels, not real sure about what's happening in pass protection, making it very tough to execute.
It's Hogrup again. He's had a very good game. Christian Jones runs up, Gamble's got it, and there's a penalty flag. He's down about the 37-yard line, but there is a penalty flag. The first week of college football. Fun to have it back, isn't it, folks?
Kick catch interference. Kicking team, number 24. 15 yards from the spot of the foul. 1st down, timeout.
So there's the flag on that. We've got a timeout. You got a disagreement coming from me when you come back on this call.
I'm looking at the exact same thing.
This is not a violation of the modified halo rule.
No, it's not, and it's. I'm glad we're showing this because this new rule is when a gunner or a defender is coming down, he's directly in front of the return man. Here, he went right by him because the returner stepped in front of him. It's a new rule this year, but it's an arm's length in front of the returner.
And it is very penal. It is 15 yards.
Absolutely.
So that gave Alabama good field position here. We check in down below with Heather Cox.
Well, guys, I was just able to confirm with the officiating staff it was kick, catch, interference, meaning, like you said, Kirk, you must give the player the opportunity to catch the ball. You can't go by him or to the side of him. He has to be unimpeded. Now, they deemed that his ability to catch the ball was impeded by the kicking team. And what Brady Hoke was wondering is, does that protection follow his player as he goes forward? And the answer is yes, it does. And that penalty is from the spot of the foul for the kicking team.
Now, it's still mistaken judgment in our opinion, Heather. He was already alongside him. Christian Jones actually moved up on that punt. There's the completion and underneath, and that's Johnson, one of the H-backs, making his first appearance. And Bama on the move again. And let's check in for an update with Robert Flores. Robert.
All right, Brent, check out what's going on in El Paso between number 4 Oklahoma and UTEP. Richard Spencer blocks the punt. Nathan Jeffrey scooping and scoring. And the Miners in those bright orange uniforms leading Oklahoma 7-0. Meantime, on ESPN, number 5 Oregon all over Arkansas State. Speaking of uniforms, Brent, check out what Oregon's wearing tonight.
The Ducks.
I think they got a little old school going tonight.
Here's Fowler banging, crushing that defensive line, bringing the seconds off the clock.
Teams that are going to have to defend Alabama because of how deep they are. I mean, the offensive line's physical. They've got 4 different running backs. They've got 3 different H-backs. They say it's their best group, top to bottom wide receivers they maybe have ever had in the Nick Saban era. You're going to face a lot of depth, and they're going to try to wear you down mentally and physically into this second half. That was another example of how they're wearing Michigan down.
When's that Arkansas game that you mentioned?
2 weeks.
That is going to be a major test.
We're going to find out where we are.
That's a big-time passing attack.
It is.
Okay. Tyler Wilson, and that'll be a bigger challenge for Saban's secondary than what they face tonight against a running and throwing quarterback, Denard Robinson. And Fowler, what a hammer. Bringing him against a tired defensive line now and just running it down. Let's check in on this. Herbie Yeldon for 110 yards. Lacey had 35 yards, and now Fowler with 56 yards. They have rushed for 221 yards here, and Fowler just updated to 62.
They could actually use a large percentage of this game, their run game, on a clinic on how to block up front. You know, we see all these spread teams in college football, and a lot of times offensive linemen are running sideways. It's more of a finesse game. You want to see an offense that's a throwback to a Bo Schembechler style of offense, where they just get you and they push you backwards. That's what Alabama does.
Fowler. Saban just very content now to hammer away at the clock. Brink making the stop for the Wolverines. Look, Herbie, the one point we need to make about Michigan. And first, let me congratulate both these schools for playing this game, especially the Wolverines. This is a step up to take on an Alabama down in Texas. Your first game, you're just trying to get a new coach to get the program put back together. Saban always plays at least one tough opponent. Virginia Tech next year is this opener. But congratulations to both these teams. Well, let's talk about what this means to the Wolverines down the road, not just here as we watch this play unfold. Goes to the end zone. Incomplete. And his penalty, that was the freshman, Amari Cooper.
Let me tell you why. I'll answer your question, Brent, shortly. But J.T. Floyd, remember we showed D. Milner, the corner from Alabama, turn his head?
Pass interference, defense, number 8, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
J.T. Floyd this time doesn't turn his head to find the football. And when you make contact, and you don't have your head turned to locate the football, you're going to be called for defensive pass interference, and that's exactly what they did. He's got to be in better position to find the football, and then he has a chance to go up, and then he can fight for the ball and get physical as much as he wants. But with his head not turned around, that's pass interference every time.
Comes Fowler. Battling toward the end zone. Just short of it.
Time they went with a tackle over to the left side, so you would think, wow, they're going jumbo to the left. They're going to run the big guy to the left side. Actually, they just used that as a decoy and came back to the right side, trying to catch this Michigan defense out of position and still find Fowler some room to run off to the right. And he's going to run through a lot of those tackles. But again, nice little wrinkle there from Doug Nussmeier with that play call. But I agree with you about Michigan. They are in the early stages of building this program back up with some good recruiting classes. This would have been a much better game 2 or 3 years down the road.
Yeldon for his first touchdown. T.J. Yeldon. Daphne, Alabama with a 100-yard game. And now his first Bama touchdown.
The young man comes in for a chance to get that first touchdown, and the Michigan defense is just ready to tap out. You know, they are worn down. They've tried to rotate bodies, but they've been out there playing quite a bit, and Bama has run that football, especially in the second half, pretty much at will.
Shelley tacks on the extra point. Bama rolling back to Tuscaloosa with their first win of the season. They'll close it out in the next 5.5 minutes. To protect the crew of America's most powerful nuclear submarine has been targeted for destruction from the creator of the Shield, Andre Braher, and Scott Speedman star in Last Resort. Series premiere Thursday, September 27th.
What's that one called? Last Resort?
Yeah.
I might be all over that.
That one might be pretty good.
That one might be good.
Here's our man Norfleet. He's been a busy freshman looking for that seam. He's going to get one. Write this down, Wolverine fans. Before the Big Ten season's over, he's going to take one to the house.
He's been close.
Yeah. Well, Denard Robinson down 41-14 at 5:26. If ever there was a chance to rest him and play the young man Russell Bellamy, this would be it. But I don't think he won't let him come out.
No, he just wants to fight this one all the way to the end.
Absolutely. What a great warrior. Still one of the most exciting players in college football. Rolling, snaps it in. There's our man Roy Roundtree making a catch here on the near sideline.
Let's go back to your Michigan
let's talk
point,
about
because let's remember Fitzgerald Toussaint comes back next week against Air Force and beyond. And you put him in this offense, it's a different feel completely with Denard Robinson and Toussaint in that backfield.
But snaps off another one, Herbie.
I'm sorry.
Down. Go ahead.
Somebody's going to have to step up on the perimeter, whether it's Gardner, who's moved out there, seems to be permanently, whether it's Roundtree. Somebody's going to have to give them some balance outside, which is where they were late in the year last year with Junior Hemingway.
Underneath, giving it to him, and that's a completion to Mike Kwiatkowski.
You made a great point about where this team is right now, and here's an example of what they've done tonight. It's just been a rough night. No matter how you want to look at the stats, it's a rough night. Brent made a great point in one of our breaks about you got Air Force coming up, then you got Notre Dame. This is a tough schedule. The last thing you can do if you're Michigan is feel bad about being embarrassed tonight on national TV. It's week 1. You got 11 more to go, and it's a grind of a schedule.
Yeah, Herbie, you mentioned that schedule, so there it is, folks. Now they get one they should win.
Yeah, but the rest of those, I mean, with the exception of Minnesota later in the year, but you got Notre Dame on the road, Purdue on the road, Illinois at home, Michigan State at Nebraska, Northwestern Iowa at Ohio State. There's not a lot of just gimmies up there for Michigan.
We've got an injured player, and this is one thing you don't want to have happen. That's their big tackle, Taylor Lewan, who is down, number 77. In a contest like this, early in the season, the one thing you don't want to do, lose players like your left tackle because of an injury here as you wind down the clock. That would be a horrible break for the Wolverines. Looking forward. The other thing, you know, Herbie, our old friend Dick Vermeil always said one thing about coaches. Don't let one loss become two.
Yep.
Now, what your job is to get these kids up right after the game. Look, you played the defending national champs. Let's go forward. We got to worry about the Air Force.
We had an example of that. At least he's up. We had an example of that in the game we called last year. Oklahoma at Florida State. Florida State seemed to put everything into that game. They lost a close one late. It affected them for the next couple weeks. They lost to Clemson. They lost to Wake Forest until they finally were able to get things going. But Michigan's got to forget about this one, try to get better, get Toussaint and Clark back, and see where they are against Air Force and UMass before Notre Dame.
So it's 3rd down and 3 for the Wolverines. Robinson's in trouble. This time he will not get away.
It's a big stunt up front. You're seeing some backup defensive linemen there. 90, Quentin Dial on a stunt. How about the big guy, 57, also able to put some pressure there. They're rotating young bodies and give you an idea of what these others can do. But Quentin Dial is athletic, a great pass rusher, made a good move that time.
The difference between the SEC and the rest of the country, the speed and the power of the defensive line. And Herbie, what's your favorite play of the weekend?
There's been a lot of great games, but the one play that stands out to me was the first night, Thursday night, Kent State. If you haven't seen it, it's going to end up being one of the top 10 plays of the year. Here's the Kent State team punting downfield. Routine punt. The ball actually bounces off the punt returner. So instead of taking it into the end zone, he takes this the other direction. What's crazier, the fact he's trying to go score for the other team, or that they actually tried to tackle him?
You're not old enough to remember that I called Roy Regals. See, the old folks remember there was a wrong way out there in the Rose Bowl.
Well, Jim Marshall went the wrong way.
He did.
Jim Marshall for the Vikings.
He's an NFL player.
Right. I know. That play can be seen 100 times. And every time I watch it, I think, not only did he make the mistake, and I'm sure he's a great player, but the team on the other side's trying. They should be like leading the way, like follow me. And they try to tackle him.
You know who the most famous alum of Kent State is in here tonight? I know you know the answer to this one. They got to let this one go out on the end zone. He's right across the way. His name is Nick Saban. He's the coach, and he played for the great Don James. You can just imagine what he'd have been like on the sideline if he'd have seen that play. Well, a reminder, Herbie, Wednesday this fall on ABC, they found their dream home. So what if the neighbors are aliens? The Neighbors, new comedy, premieres Wednesday, September 26, 9:30, 8:30 Central on ABC. Well, they were neighbors. They've been very friendly here. Fans from both these great schools coming down to Arlington. You can't believe how many of them took tours of Jerry Jones' great stadium. They give guided tours around. And we saw folks from Alabama and Michigan enjoying it a couple of days ago. Philip Ely is now the quarterback. And didn't you have Jerry Jones on as your guest picker?
We did.
Yeah, how'd that work out?
He did a good job. I think we had 6 games on the board, and see how he did. Not bad.
No, it's not bad at all.
He's going to end up getting the Alabama game to get him 4-2.
I'm going to give him.
He's up going into the Monday night.
I'm going to give him half credit for Auburn Clemson because his first answer to you and Chris was,
Tigers.
"I take the Tigers."
Right. Can't go wrong there.
2nd down, and he's got the Hokies.
Yep.
Over Georgia Tech. That's our Monday night game. Great to have you all back with us. And of course, next week NASCAR on Saturday night. So we'll have a Saturday afternoon game down at Kyle Field College Station, and that will be the SEC opener for Texas A&M. Now on ESPN2 later that evening, it'll be Missouri's SEC opener against Georgia. So, and a reminder to stay tuned for the Ford wrap-up coming right after Alabama's win here tonight in the season opener for the defending champions.
One of the most impressive things to me, and the thing I wanted to see from this offense is, without Jim McElwain, what would the attack look like? How would the young receivers respond? How would the young backs respond? You know, they averaged last year 430 yards of offense. Tonight, they have 430 yards of offense. It's been a balanced attack, and Doug Nussmeier and his offensive staff needs to be very proud of his first effort this year.
Philip Ely is wrapping this one up. He's the redshirt freshman quarterback from Tampa.
Holding offense number 21. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
That was Brent Callaway, one of the H-backs, and Nick, you're going to win this one, my friend.
Not yet. Not yet.
Here we are. There's their schedule, and Herbie's talked about September 15th. I think that's going to be a major test for this football team's defense and that secondary.
Absolutely.
Got a great quarterback there.
Tyler Bray in Tennessee looked really athletic the other night. Justin Hunter came back, and they looked explosive, much more athletic than they have. And, of course, at LSU, I mean, there's still some, obviously, a long way to go. But there's going to be some much more difficult games than what they faced tonight.
But this is a very good-looking football team
No
we
doubt.
have watched here tonight. And Mandel to punt it, and Jeremy Gallant. And there's a delay of game. And they'll back it up. And
5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Listen, folks, this is why he's a great coach. I'm telling you, it's every second of practice, every second of a game.
He doesn't see 41-14.
No, sir.
He sees you either do it right or you do it wrong.
You know his mantra. Do your job.
That's it.
Okay?
And when the final horn goes off, then he'll look up and say, what's the score? 41-14.
No, we chuckle at his antics on the sideline, but let me tell you, he's the best in the business in the college game right now. Gallant driven back to the 25-yard line. Look out for the clip. There it comes. This is coming back. All for naught. Oh, you could see that one coming from up here, couldn't you?
Yeah, he was sizing him up. We were just watching him.
He's right
from 10 yards and closing. It was like, here he comes.
Hello.
During the return, block in the back. Receiving team number 8. 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Well, again, we mentioned that this game's coming up 8 Eastern. I want to give you the start time on ESPN, Georgia Tech, Virginia Tech. Herbie, I went down to Albuquerque and visited our old buddy Bob Davie.
Yeah.
He won big today in his opener. Good. So he has matched the win total of the last 3 years. Go Lobos.
There we go.
All right.
Good for him.
He better beat New Mexico State or he'll be in trouble down there.
First year in, right? Hey, good job. First win.
It'll take him some time down there, but he's going to get it done down there. You watch and see. So Bellamy is in at quarterback. Here's the young man from Arlington, Texas. High juggle, diving interception. His first pass is picked off by one of the Alabama reserves. And I believe that was Dylan Lee who did it, Herbie?
Yeah. They're emptying the bench over there on the Alabama side, but Lee gets in here. They got a lot of young people, and the poor Bellamy. The ball goes off to Smith. And that's a pretty good effort by Lee not to give up on that play. And that kind of sums up the whole night for Michigan and Denard Robinson. Poor Bellamy. He's from Arlington. He's all excited. Family and friends are here. His first throw off the hands of Smith. There's the SEC chant.
You knew that was coming.
I thought we might hear that one in the first half.
I did too. On the first play of the game.
Yeah. When in doubt, they keep that one in their hip pocket.
Yeah, they did.
They don't bluff on that.
Great football team. Wow. Now on ESPN, of course, Arkansas State. You get to check out those unis. Robert Flores said the Ducks. And ESPNU, Arizona. Rich Rodriguez first game against Toledo out in the desert. He's got a quarterback. He's got a quarterback apparently could run. Is that right?
Scott can run. Yep. Nice player. Redshirted him last year. Gave him that extra year while Nick Foles was playing. See if he can get off to a better start than Washington State and Mike Leach. That was a tough one.
Well, Ely hands the ball off. And they have emptied the bench. Kenyon Drake is that. He applauds. Good job as he turns around.
There's the clap. Nice job. Heather's going to get a couple chuckles out of Coach Saban, maybe.
41-14. There he is. Brady and Nick, good friends. A.J. McCarron, Heather Cox is on the pursuit. 41-14. Bama wins its opener.
Yeah, how about the performance by the freshman?
Yeldon with 111 yards and a touchdown. Let's go down to Heather with the winning quarterback.
Thanks so much, Brent. AJ, congratulations on the win. What message are you trying to send to the college football world with this win tonight?
I personally don't think we're trying to send any type of message, really.
we're trying to do what Coach always preaches. Let's just go out, play our game, take care of what we're supposed to take care of every play of the game, and at the end, everything will fall in place.
You talk about what your coach preaches. He had a meeting with your team days after you won the national championship. Talk to you guys about avoiding complacency. How much did that meeting help you guys tonight and that message?
Well, it helps a lot. I mean, anytime Coach Saban speaks, everybody's, all ears. And Coach Saban, he definitely let us know that this team hasn't done anything yet. And we got to come out and try to, find our identity as a team. And I think we did part of that tonight, but we got to keep building on it. We got things to work on and come back next week and be better.
And you guys put up 41 points on the board with a new offensive coordinator and a great offensive line. You talk about taking that line to dinner. What kind of treat are you going to give them tonight after this performance?
Well, they're going to get the plane meal going back home, but I'm sure next week I'll take them out to dinner like always.
All right, enjoy, AJ. Congratulations.
A.J. McCarron came to work tonight dressed. How about that bow tie?
When you win a national championship, that's how you roll into the next game.
I thought there was a rock and roll concert here. Your final thoughts on this win,
just a great performance by Alabama. They did what they had to do to be able to have a very impressive win for Michigan. They've got to go back to the drawing board, and they can't sit here and worry about what happened tonight. They got to move forward, get ready for Air Force.
So once again, our final score, 41-14 Bama. Next week on ESPN at a special time, 3:30 Eastern, when Florida takes on SEC newcomer Texas A&M. Thanks for watching ESPN Saturday Night Football on ABC. ESPN, the home of the Discover BCS National Championship game. Bama